Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here. It's Thursday, and we're doing a Thursday think tank. And I'm asking people what they think about the in-season tournament, whether it's the schedule, whether it's how many games in the in-season tournament you think will win, whether whatever opinion you have about the in-season tournament schedule that was released on Tuesday. I kind of went over my opinions about it a bit yesterday, but you know what? I was thinking to myself, you know what? I want to know what they think about the in-season tournament starting on November the 12th against the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee. And then we play Miami and Detroit and Indiana also in our Group B of the Eastern Conference. Yeah, let's see. Predictions, maybe. You could give me a prediction. Maybe you could tell me how you feel. Some people online are saying, we're going to win all four of them. Okay, I hope so. I mean, that would be fantastic, but I hope so. But I don't know if that will happen. But yeah, we're just talking in-season tournament a little bit today on the Thursday Think Tank, the in-season tournament schedule, the second ever in-season tournament of the NBA. What do you think, Thursday Think Tank? Let's do it. Let's do it. Yes, let's talk it to it. We'll talk about the Raptors on a Thursday. There's other stuff we got to talk about. And Commissioner J, the commissioner of fun, is my cue card holder this morning. So let's check in with Commissioner J and see what he's saying here. Good morning, Raptors family. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. This is so true. I love this words of wisdom because honestly, regret is a tough thing. You've had a life. You've had things happen. Well, we can't go back in time, Marty McFly, and change the things like Calvin Klein underwear. No, you can't. You just can't do it. So you have to accept your path is exactly how it's supposed to be, even with all the negative lumps and the things that you don't really like. But you wouldn't be the person you are today in the exact moment that you are on your path presently without everything that happened before. So your mistakes mold you and make you who you are in the long run. And hopefully you become a better person for them. So, yeah, I'm totally with Trevor here. And listen, don't be afraid to start over. Don't be afraid to make something different in your life if you don't like it. And that's what I would say right there to that word of wisdom. Thank you, Trevor J, for fantastic words of wisdom this morning. I love it. Trevor's also saying BGRB pro runs with Scotty and Chris Boucher were good. YouTube clip. Yeah, listen, Rico Hines runs clips are out, and they've got James Harden mic'd during the Rico runs, the latest clip that's out on YouTube. And I haven't watched it. To be quite honest, I don't know if I will. Because in some ways, it's like, that's great and everything. But I don't see no Raptors there because I know all the Raptors are in Malaga, Spain right now. And they're not at Rico runs. So, I mean, yeah, y'all watch Rico runs. They're fun. They're nostalgic, but it's really a Sixers camp at this point. And, I don't want to watch the Sixers camp. Boo, gross. So, yeah, in some ways, this BGRB clip that came out, they finally released a clip. We got a lot of the pictures from it in the last few weeks, but they did an edited clip and released it on YouTube. It is fantastic, guys. It is fantastic. I'm telling you right now, there's things that Scotty's doing in this clip that y'all are going to want to watch. And I say it's better than the Rico Hines runs clips right now, just for a Raptors fan, because you're going to get to see Scotty Barnes with a little bit more to his game than what he had the last time we saw him play when he was healthy. There was a play in particular that opened my eyes real wide, like that emoticon, like the one that Raptors are putting up, and it's making everybody tease that they think they're going to rebrand. No, they're not going to rebrand, y'all. Y'all are crazy. Stop talking about that. But no, my eyes went up big when I saw Scotty. Now, granted, this is not against NBA players, but he did a move that was very overwhelmingly powerful and badass. It was basically he did a real bully move. Now, I know he's done bully moves to the basket before in the past, but I'm just saying if this is something he's going to do more aggressively in this year coming up for the NBA, he can be in the running for most improved player because Scotty's a big boy and he wants to go down there and beat up on the little babies. We talked about it a lot on Twitch when he's playing in the 2K. He likes to go down low and beat up on little babies. Yeah, because he's the big boy. And he's going to go down there and beat up on little babies. And, well, if he does that, he can add a whole other level of dominance to his game where nobody can stop him. And the NBA will not be able to ignore him. is what I would say. But yeah, there was a particular move he did where he bullied his way right on down to the next to the basket, very, very high percentage shot, and put it in. And I was like, yeah, Scott, do more of that, please. Do more of that. I mean, I told him personally 2 years ago, I said, Scott, you're so strong and so quick. You can do whatever you want down low. Just take it to their asses and put it right high percentage. Get down there low. He's like, Raptor Street, you saying I can go down the post? I'm like, yeah, you can. Go down the post and do things down the post. Seriously, Scott, more and more as you get older and as a vet in the NBA. Do that more and more, because that kind of bread and butter, high percentage kind of stuff is badass. And the best in the league are able to do this. And you're one of the best. You're one of the best. LeBron can do this shit. Kevin can do this shit to an extent. Not everybody can do this shit. You can. And that's why you need to use every single part of your powers, Mr. Barnes. So I say that. Yeah, there were some cool clips in there of Chris Boucher also doing some fantastic shooting. This is some of the stuff Chris was shooting. Of course, maybe they edited the clip to make the really, really cherry picked the really, really good stuff. But man, Chris looked good out there too. He was working hard. And there were some things that he was doing a little bit different that intrigued me about the possibility of what Boucher might be doing in the future for the Raptors. I'm pretty sure he is in Spain right now. He's not given the full nod on his Instagram stories, but I'm pretty sure that Chris is in Spain at Malaga with the rest of the team at the Sanctuary right now. Yeah. But great clip. I highly recommend anybody who loves the Raptors to watch this BGRB clip that has released. It's on YouTube. It's about a 10-minute clip, raw footage. Well, not raw, edited footage of Scotty and Chris in this pickup game. Quincy Guerriere was there, Isaiah Mike, a couple of pretty decent players. So you can see a little bit of Quincy in there too. But it's mostly Scotty and Chris. And Raptor fan that loves Rico Runs, well, they're not a Rico Runs, but they're at this clip, and this clip is very similar to a Rico Runs kind of clip. Even have a coach at the end come in and talk to them just like Rico would. So, and you see Brian Macon sitting on the sideline watching and coaching, helping out Scott with the trainer of Scotty's personal trainer, Brian Macon, is in the clip also. Trevor J saying YouTube clip on the NBA basketball and hotel facility in Spain looks amazing. Yeah, from that clip, I learned a bit more about it and what the plan is with this. It's very interesting. The NBA Players Association built this sanctuary court at a resort. And in conjunction with this resort, the players that come there can stay in the resort. Now, the rule is apparently, and this is how they get around any kind of weirdness with collusion or whatever they call like tampering, if you're going to go get together or a team pays for their ticket. No, they got to pay for their plane tickets to Spain. But once they get to the resort, it's all free after that. So our Raptors paid for their tickets to get to Malaga, just so you guys know. Apparently, that's the truth. Now, the thing that Emmanuel did in July was there was a very first group that came in of assorted NBA players, including people like Jaime Vasquez Jr. and Boban Marjanovic, were there playing an impromptu kind of little mini camp of breaking in the sanctuary court. Now, there's a sanctuary court in New York. That was the first one they built. We've seen it on YouTube. I mean, we've seen it on social media in different places where players can go to New York. And if you're a player in the union, you can go and play at this place because it's part of what the union dues and everything's set up. And it's a nice court there, but it's nothing like the court that they got in Spain. And they do have plans to build more of these NBA Players Association sanctuaries globally. And part of the impetus is that they want international players, the growing number of international players in the NBA, to have a place to go to in the offseason, even if they're not in North America. So say Jonas Valanciunas is in Lithuania, and he's kind of like, I don't want to go all the way back over to Washington, D.C. and work out with the Wizards. Well, Jonas can just go on a little plane flight to Malaga, Spain, and he can go work out at the sanctuary there instead. Now, I love that the Raptors are there as a group, as a whole team. Most of the team is there, I'm pretty sure. In fact, I've got some evidence from the Instagram stories that our Canadian guys who just finished up the Olympics should be there right now. I don't know for sure about RJ, but I am positive that Kelly's there, and I'll tell you why. But yeah, most of the Raptors are there working out all together, having their own private training camp early right now. So that's fantastic stuff. But yeah, the facility looks nice. In some ways, they had a whole thing when Emmanuel was there in July. with entrepreneurs coming in and talking about business outside of basketball, people from big corporations teaching about like money management and opportunities, investments. And then also, of course, the resort is a resort. And we've seen the beautiful pictures and social media stuff coming from the Raptors on their accounts of the sunsets, the pools, the water, the beach. Yeah, it's a very nice place. Of course, Scotty was hanging out with a DJ this week, and this is all kind of a party kind of resort, but also a sanctuary with a basketball court where these guys can go play. So it's quite the setup, and it looks like they're going to want to put one in Asia. They'll probably want to put one in Africa at one point. They want to get it all different parts of the world where there may be NBA players that want to come and play and practice in the offseason, and they don't want to go all the way back to the States. So in some ways, that's a great reason to do it. It's part of how Adam Silver and the NBA are trying to make the game more global, as well as put some NBA Players Association sanctuary courts out there. The New York one was the test one in New York. Well, it went well, and they opened their second one in Malaga, Spain. There you go. There you go. Monique is in the house. Super fan Monique Lawrence, our MVP. What's up with you this morning, Mo? I hope you're doing really well. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. I can't hang long today on the road. I'm ready for whatever in-season tournament. Happy schedule release day. Let's go Raptors. I know the guy who does the BGRB. I sent positive energy. There you go, Mo. There you go. Mo's busy today, so she's just checking in for a sec, and she's excited because it is the day that they're going to announce the complete NBA schedule for the season coming up. And so be ready around 3 o'clock. It'll be dropping, and we'll, have to go over it and check it all out. And I'm sure I'll freak out about it tomorrow. We'll freak out about the schedule. Maybe I'll be freaking out about how they've made some really crazy decisions with where the Raptors have to travel at some point in the schedule or something like that. Maybe I'll be freaking out because there's like a crazy stretch. Like they throw us to the fire right at the beginning of the season against like top level teams right away. I don't know. I might have to be freaking out after I see the schedule later today. So tune in tomorrow and you can get my reaction to the NBA schedule for the Toronto Raptors after they release it later. Mo, whatever you got going on, I hope everything's good and good luck and all the best things for you. She's also saying we will be prepared for anything coming our way this season. There you go, Mo. Well, I hope so. I know that Darko's a very good coach at preparing for stuff. In some ways, he should be ready for anything. And hopefully the young men on our team, because this is a very young team, are going to be ready more and more as they learn. Because that's the thing. This is going to be learning. And sometimes there's failure in learning. And in some ways, we're going to have to be patient as a Raptors fan nation. And the people that don't want to be patient, the people that are going to be acting toxic, well, there's the door. You can go on out and go touch grass for a while. You don't have to watch the Raptors. It's not mandatory. So anybody who's going to get upset about winning and losing this season, get over yourself because we knew we might have to lose some this year. And I don't think we will lose as much as people think, honestly. But it is that kind of thing where these perfectionists, they can't lose so much. What happened to them? They were champions. You were casuals. You've been asleep. Nobody needs to put the alarm off to wake you up. You just go fucking touch grass and get out in the yard. Because honestly, we'll let the regulars, the ones that are there every day like us, we'll handle being the fans for the team. If y'all are not up for the task because you're so judgmental. Oh, they're so horrible now. What happened to the Raptors? Just shut up and just go watch the Leafs is what I'll tell those people right there. Cowboys here. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Dap to you, Bradley. I like the East B group. It will give us a good challenge. But I believe the Raptors can come out on top. No problem. Let's go. I love that optimistic attitude. I mean, if you really want me to look at this schedule real quick and tell you what I think. All right, this is what I would say. With everything with the Raptors, we want improvement. We want progress. We want positive things on the way up. And, like I said, over 25 wins this season is an improvement from last year. And that's kind of what we're looking for. We want to get a lot more if we can. 35 to 40 wins this year. Yeah, let's do that, Darko. But yeah, with the in-season tournament, I would say this. Last year we won one game. If we can win 2 in-season tournament games in the group play, and even if we don't go to Vegas, I'll say that's an improvement. In some ways, the in-season tournament is kind of a silly thing. It's not really a good way to gauge where you're at, though. Because some team could just get on a fluke like the Lakers last year, and then all of a sudden they won it. Yeah, it's a really flaky kind of goofy cup. And in some ways, I want to see a true competition this year, NBA. Don't be ref manipulating. Don't try and write storylines for LeBron to get the first MVP. Let's let this being really, really a raw, real competition where the absolute best team ends up winning it this year, because that didn't happen in the first one. It didn't. There was some bullshit railroading for storyline writing and script writing. And y'all don't, you know what? You don't have to work for Hollywood and write screenplays, Adam Silver. You don't have to do that. It makes a mockery of something you're trying to establish as a legit thing when you write a storyline that gets the Lakers to the championship of the in-season tournament. I'm serious. There's no reason why they should have won that last year. That was some bullshit because they wanted that to happen. So they made it happen. And you're not Vince McMahon, Adam Silver. So stop script writing. I want to see a pure competition, and the best NBA team that is playing in that tournament needs to win that tournament. And don't try and railroad something like LeBron getting MVP the first time just because you don't know how long LeBron's got. And we got to make sure he gets every accolade he can possibly get before he retires. Yeah, because that's what ruined it. It was really good in the beginning when we watched the in-season tournament last year because the games were really super competitive. And everybody's kind of like, well, why don't these guys fucking play like this all the time? I know, really, seriously. But yeah, it was entertaining and there were really good games, but the end of it was like a letdown and it was kind of sham, is what I'd say. So yeah, Raptors get 2 in-season tournament wins. I'd say Detroit, we need to win that one. We're at home. We're playing Detroit on November the 15th. It's a Friday. Yeah, I'll probably go to that game, guys. Honestly, I'm going to say that right now. I'm probably going to be going to the Detroit in-season tournament game because I want to make sure that these guys beat them. And I know I'll bring that energy down there like Monique would, and we're going to get loud. So I'll probably be at that 11-15 Detroit game. Now, the second game could be either the Miami game or the Indiana game. This is the thing on the download. The Miami Heat have gotten worse in the last year or so. So in some ways, I could see us maybe beating the Heat in Miami in our in-season tournament game, possibly, just because they are on a downswing. Seriously, they've had key people leave them in the last year or so, and they're not the same team that was running all the way to the finals like they were a couple of years ago. They've really had a decline. Let's just put it that way. So I'm not expecting the Miami Heat to be as normal as they usually are. You know, sure, Spoelstra's there still. It's still Heat culture. But when you don't have the same amount of talent, in a lot of ways, you're not going to be as good. And we can beat them. We played them very well toe-to-toe over the years. And, well, I think we can still do that, even with this new cast of characters or youngsters. Now, the Indiana game here, that's a game that is winnable too because, like I said, Speaker Fire game, there's been different games where we played Indiana in the last couple of years. In fact, we beat them right around the in-season tournament last year in a very close game. Of course, we had the guy Siakam on our side at that time. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see where they're at and what they're doing. Milwaukee, I would even say, yeah, that's a gettable game, depending on how much the Bucks are in disarray. The Bucks have been in disarray at different times in the last year for different reasons, whether it's firing Coach Bud and all that crazy stuff, or whether it's firing Adrian Griffin, whether it's just not connecting, Dame Lillard experiment failing. There's all kinds of different things that happened to Bucks recently that they're just not like the same old Bucks as they were just like a couple of years ago when they won a championship. So these are gettable teams. In some ways, there's no real top juggernaut in this bracket with us, this group, because Milwaukee is kind of a fake top team. And I'm going to say that right now. I think they're a fake top team right now. Drew Holiday, you should have never done what you did, letting him go like that, Milwaukee. Y'all failed as a front office a lot in the last year. Let's just put it that way. So I could see it, Trevor. I mean, Bradley, where we get some sort of luck and we win all 4 of our in-season tournament games. That's a tall order, though. So I'm going to say 2. We can improve off the 1 win over Chicago last year. Let's get 2. We'll get Detroit and one of the other ones. Let's get Detroit and one of the other ones. That's right. Trevor J saying the NBA is going to release the schedule at 3. I know. I said that already. We knew this. We've been saying this the last 2 days. It's all right, Trevor. You can keep repeating like news and stuff, but, it's kind of pay attention and see if stuff has already been said. Trevor saying WNBA 3 games tonight, 1 on Prime, 2 on ESPN. I think there's actually more games than that. There is WNBA resuming action tonight. So if you do have a WNBA fantasy team in our fantasy league, you want to get it set up because there are games today and you want to be ready. Right now, let's check in with the current scores that have been going on in our fantasy matchups. I'm playing David right now, Commissioner Trivia, and I have about a 30-point lead over him. Morgan is playing Cool Cat, and Cool Cat has the lead, about 28 points. MK versus James. MK's got about a 50-point lead. MK is the defending WNBA fantasy champion. We the best Race Mode Daily is beating MJ, who's off on vacation in Jamaica. She did set her lineup, though, she said. And Kareem and JP's Reese's nieces. Kareem has got a good lead over Country Kong. So, yeah, get your team set up for today. This is your reminder. WNBA starts playing once again tonight, and y'all need that those points to try and win. There you go. Most saying the team getting together this early in the summer. Wow, watch out, NBA. Hello, team bonding. Yeah, the team bonding is fantastic. It's such a it's so different when you're in a locale that's foreign and kind of different. It's like, going on an awesome vacation with some of you. Like I just went on this Estonia vacation, and it's like, wow, you get bonded with shared experiences. You get bonded with like going somewhere that's unique that you have never been before with the people that you're there. There's memories. That's what I'm talking about right there. They're making memories over there. That Raptors roster right now, hanging out with each other in Malaga, Spain. It is very different. And I think it's not totally unique, but it's pretty unique for most of the NBA teams so far. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Popovich had the Spurs training in France at one point or something, probably because of Tony Parker and Boris Diaw. But who knows if any NBA team has ever had practice time like the Raptors are doing right now overseas like this ever before. Yeah, hello team bonding indeed. Hello team bonding indeed. I would say that the Raptors maybe be at Rico Runs instead of this if they weren't over there right now. So, them getting together and playing with each other in the summer has happened the last couple of summers, mostly at UCLA. But now they're in Malaga. That's right. Nako's here. Good to see my good friend Gerald. It's been a little bit, Gerald. I miss you, my guy. I hope your summer's going good. Let's get the most out of it while we can. They're setting up the CNE. Ah! Yikes! They're setting up the CNE. Nako's saying, hoping for 4-0. I'm guessing we're going to go close 3-1. Man, those are both great records. I'm saying 2-2 is likely. But you know what? I would love for something like that to happen, Gerald, for sure. Yeah, Smooth saying no Rico runs for me. He's not watching them. He's not watching them. You don't want to watch James Harden on the mic talking to everybody, talking trash and saying funny things. That's what the last clip that came out is. I think it's like they said we mic'd up James so you can hear what he's saying during the Rico runs. That is kind of interesting in some ways. Like I'm sure he has some crazy ass trash talk. It's James Harden with his crazy step backs and kickouts with his legs. Nako saying, I don't think you can put too much stock in Pro-Am or Rico, but they're neat. Yeah. I mean, you know what it is, Gerald? It's really kind of like looking for different skills that these guys are showing. Like Chris was doing more ball handling kind of stuff in this. And obviously, in some ways, Darko's probably not going to want Chris to handle the ball as much as he was at that Pro-Am or that informal game that they were playing in. But still, you see some of the building blocks of things that could be possible for someone like Scotty with some of the little moves that he does on that clip. And you kind of see it and you're like, whoa, there was a really nice pass he had that was through traffic to Chris. The connection between Boucher and Barnes in that game, in that clip is really strong. And they're like, and Chris seems to play really well off of Scott as far as just naturally being in the right places to get the ball from him and do stuff. Like if Scotty's in trouble, Chris is there to get an emergency pass and land it to him because he's in the right spot for the angle to get the pass. So there's a lot of that in that clip. I highly recommend it. There's about 10 minutes, and you're going to be feeling real good after you see some of the stuff Scotty's doing. Of course, they show all the makes and probably not as many of the misses, but some of the shots Scotty and Chris were making were super impressive. And we got to remember, NBA players can really hoop it up. And man, when they play lesser talent, you really see it. These guys drop like 50 points on these guys. Yeah, it's really good. All right, let's see. Let's see what Blank Man's saying here. Blank Man was here the other day. He's not a big fan of Brittany Griner. Let's just see what he's have to say today. Welcome back. Do you just talk about what's in the title, or can I start pushing the envelope on some controversial topics that include politics, race, sports, etc.? Blank man. Usually, that was the old format, but I've changed it. We used to talk politics every single day almost, and I will talk politics. Yes, there's certain days that I'll do it, and certain days I won't. Today's the Thursday think tank, so it's kind of an open day to do it. But in some ways, I'm not encouraging this as much. And especially if there's somebody who has a political objective to try and put across bullshit, yeah, I'll shut it down real quick. In some ways, listen, I can be tolerant of other people's views, but this is my channel, and I don't want people to come in here and use my channel as a vehicle to push their bullshit. Is what I was say. I was very lenient with you on the Monday moment this week, just to provide an other opinion. But if you have some sort of like objectives for wanting to inject stupid shit into my stream, yeah, I'll shut you down real quick. So tread lightly. Go ahead if you want, and then let's try it. Let's see what happens here. Brian saying, "What's up, Freak Nation? Not a fan of the in-season tournament." There you go. Brian's got an opinion on the in-season tournament. He doesn't like it. I think that it's good in some ways, but it needs fine tuning. I think that the reason why Adam Silver started the in-season tournament is because the season's long. In some ways, people said, "Well, the players aren't even trying to start playing until January." Well, okay, put a tournament with money involved and prestige and a cup, and it gets these guys off their ass and they compete a little bit more earlier. And we saw some fantastic games in the in-season tournament, great entertainment value. And people were like, "Whoa, this is awesome." Besides all the flashy new courts and bells and whistles, there was some real good meat in that sandwich as far as like the NBA entertainment. So it's a tough thing, Brian. Some of it was really good, but some of it, like I said earlier, the script writing, it turned me off. But yeah, let's see how it goes this year. If it can be just more of a pure open contest where something happens, but if there's referees manipulating outcomes and script writing going on because they want this team or that team to be the team that gets it, yeah, it's going to turn me off. And I know whenever the Lakers win something, especially since right after the in-season tournament, they proceeded to lose like 18 of their next 20 games. Yeah, that's a full, total bullshit thing that happened when they won it last year. It's total bullshit. Seriously. All right, let's see. Cowboys saying, "I was watching 2023, 2024 highlights last night. It's crazy how much our roster moved and new faces we have now. I'm so excited for this team. Raptors culture is back. NBA, watch out. We coming." Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see, Cowboy. It's real good to get highlights together and feel real good about them. In fact, they're doing these highlight packages of assists for like Emmanuel Quickly. They have one for Kelly Olynyk that came out yesterday. Very cool to see the really fantastic passing acumen of Quickly and Olynyk. And yeah, that's what Raptors admin's going to do. They're going to try and keep the excitement for Raptors basketball up during the summer and the off months and remind people, well, NBA action is fantastic, and you're going to be wanting to come back to the arena in the fall. Yeah, and so that's a lot of that, what that is right now. So they're getting you hyped is what's happening. You've fallen into the hype trap. You go, Cowboy. I love your hype, man. Smooth is here. Good to see Smooth. He's saying Scotty Barnes to me is a combo of Pippen and Magic. He's that good. In 1 or 2 years, he'll be a top 5 to 10 player. I agree with this. And you know what? Pippen isn't somebody that he gets compared to a lot, but it's actually very apropos. I mean, Scottie Pippen was an all-round player for sure. He had all those categories. So some people are noticing the greatness of Scotty Barnes is that he led the Raptors in all the major categories last year. That's true. And he was the only player in the league that did that. That's a big accomplishment. Now, some people say, well, that's just because the rest of the Raptors suck and nobody else stepped up. But seriously, when does a player lead their team in points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals all at once? And that's Scottie Pippen kind of shit right there. Because Scottie got block shots. He got a lot of steals. He was in the top 5 of steals for almost every year. And we knew he could shoot and score. And he obviously could rebound. And he was the point forward for a while for the Bulls also. So that's a great comparison. I have not really said Scottie to Scottie very much on this channel. But you know what? It's apropos. It's apropos. And Magic, of course. And Magic says he looks like Magic. Well, he looks like Magic. If Magic says it, if Irvin says it, yeah, it's bona fide. It's not like we're tossing this around and giving this to Scott like it's flaky or just like, oh, it's so easy. Yeah, Scotty's like Magic Johnson. No, Magic Johnson said he's like Magic Johnson. And that's a seal of approval right there. Nako's saying Scotty is a do-it-all forward. If Tatum can get to top 15 with very flawed offense, so can Scotty. Yeah, well, let's not compare this to Tatum because Tatum's a fraud. Tatum is an inefficient player that the NBA tapped as a marketing person that they want to push and build, but his game is horrible in some ways. He's like a 4 for 20 shooter, and he fails and crumbles in high pressure situations. This is just something that has been known over the years. Now people say, "What? He's the champion. He just did this." Okay, Celtics fan, get the fuck out of here. This is the Raptors clubhouse. But listen, this is the truth. He's not an efficient player. He's a very high usage player that takes a lot of bad shots, to be honest. And they're different kinds of players. They're different species. And Scotty's a way better team player and all around player than Jason Tatum. This is the damn truth. Yeah, some people's brains might go when I said that, but that's just the damn truth. And the only reason why y'all think Jason Tatum's so good is because the NBA marketing has marketed him that way to you guys. Jaylen Brown's the better Celtic. He always was, and he always will be. But he can't be marketed because his radical political views. That's the truth. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Raptor Free Crew. Good morning to you, Cool Cat. The coach is in the house, y'all. Call the play, coach. Let's see what we're doing today. That's right. Tobias is here. Tobias Frost, the villain from Marvel Universe. We'll have to see, Tobias, if I can still meet up with you. Things have changed. I have more family coming to the city, and things are getting really busy all of a sudden for me in August. But we'll have to figure it out. If I can come and meet you somewhere around Richmond Hill next week, that would be fantastic. We're going to try and figure it out, Tobias. But I am not free until Sunday. Sunday, I've got to take my folks to the airport, and they're going to go to Manitoba. And then I'll be free after that. So Cowboy's saying, what's your 5 starters to start the season? Start the lesson. Cowboy, I mean, obviously it's Emmanuel, RJ, Scotty, and Jakob. And you know what? I'm going to go off the script. And y'all, happy birthday to Bruce Brown. I'm going to say Bruce Brown starting this season to start. But he may not be starting for very long. But I think in the beginning of the season, if he's healthy, he's playing at a high level, Bruce Brown Jr. could be the starting 2 guard for the Raptors just for experience and balancing out some of the things with the team. You know, it's going to be a young team. And in some ways, Bruce Brown could be a steadying veteran presence on the team like Jakob. So, that's what I would say to this. Well, you know what? It's his birthday. So I'm going to give him a little birthday. Happy 28th birthday, Bruce Brown Jr. And I'm going to say he starts. How about that? There you go, Cowboy. And I may be only saying that because it's his birthday, just so you know. Tobias say, good morning, Raptor Freaks. Good morning to you, Tobias. I hope we do link up. Brian's saying, JV officially set up a gym out in Lithuania. Yeah, these guys have places they can go. I mean, Jakob's got his place in Vienna where he had his camp earlier this summer. Very successful Jakob youth camp in Vienna, Austria this summer. But yeah, Jonas is going to, I mean, this is what I'll say. There's a difference between Vienna, Austria, and Lithuania. Lithuania is basketball crazy. In fact, I saw a map recently, and they had all the countries in the world with their favorite sport marked over it. And it's crazy. There were 4 countries that were very much all basketball. We know the Philippines was one of them. Oh my God, the Philippines is like the most basketball crazy country in the whole entire world. And I love you, Granny Evelyn. It is true. You should be proud of your country there because, man, they love basketball. They really do. China was one of the countries, the 4 countries that absolutely loves basketball. Number one. Yeah, basketball's number 1 in China, guys. Well, the other 2 countries were the country I just went to, Estonia. Yeah, Estonia's favorite sport in all the entire world is basketball. It's not hockey like Finland. No, it's not soccer like Germany. No, the favorite sport of Estonia is basketball. The Estonians love basketball, number 1. And the other country is Jonas's country, Lithuania. So 2 of the 3 Baltics are very much basketball hotbeds. So there's tons of basketball courts in Lithuania. Jonas can play over there, but, there's hardly any in Vienna. Austria has no basketball courts, and that's one of the amazing things about Jakob Poeltl, that he came to the NBA as the only Austrian player ever to play in the NBA. And that is not a sport that is like cultivated or grown in any kind of way. He's like a weed that grew in the crack of the sidewalk over there that don't have no basketball programs in youth or anything. He's self-taught. He taught himself how to play himself in Austria. So that's the really amazing thing about Jakob Poeltl. So maybe the example should be for Poeltl and not for Valanciunas, because Valanciunas got all the courts in the world in Lithuania. because they're crazy about basketball there. Grateful Dead, Arvydas Sabonis. Yeah. But in Vienna, they ain't got no courts. So somebody like Jakob Pertl, he wants to go and play on a really nice court in Spain. Well, that's helpful. That's helpful right there. Yeah. So a little bit on that there. On that there. Nako saying best thing you can do is, as a millionaire, is save at least $1 million. Okay, Nako, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of different things you can do. That's money matters. I don't know. Is this financial stuff like with Jim Cramer? No, we're not doing the CNBC. Come on now. All right, let's see. Smooth saying there's a report that after December the 15th, JV will be traded, likely to the Lakers. Well, once again, Smooth, I'm gonna say this: you bring in a lot of Lakers rumors in here, whether it was the one last week about D'Angelo Russell coming to the Raptors. Now you're yeah, I've heard this rumor too. And you know what? They screwed up. This is what it is, basically. This is what it is. Rob Pelinka was asleep at the wheel this summer. Yeah, he was. He was horrible GM this summer. He had Bronny in his eyes. It was all Bronny. And whatchamacallit, JJ Redick. Yeah, the Lakers had a horrible offseason, and the fans are mad. So they're really crazy with the rumors right now because they don't think that they've gotten any better this offseason with getting players. So they're wishing and wishing and wishing and wishing. And right now, the thing that they're wishing for is a true center in Jonas Valanciunas. They had their opportunity to get him. They had their opportunity to get him, but he signed with the Wizards. That's how much of a fail the Lakers are this summer. Yeah, maybe they'll circle back and correct their mistake in the season when they do a trade. But honestly, that trades don't happen until next year. And if he's going to get traded to the Lakers, well, I don't trust that. I once again will say Rob Pelinka is inept as a GM, and he does not orchestrate trades very well. So keep holding your breath, Laker Nation. Keep your wish list out there. Oh, we want Valanciunas on our team. Y'all missed out on Gary Trent Jr. Y'all missed out on that guy Hurley, who didn't want to come coach y'all. Y'all are missing out. And how's that feel? The feeling of missing out. FOMO, baby. That's right. You got FOMO, Lakers. You're FOMO'd this offseason. You got FOMO'd. You got feelings of missing out. And now you're just writing all storylines about, oh, we want big science to be dropped on us in the middle of the season. No, you don't get big science. Big science is in D.C., and he just went there. It's like, you got to understand, Jonas isn't about this kind of mess around stuff. He's older. He just wants to go somewhere and play and make some money, obviously, because he went to the Wizards. Come on now. Do you think he cares about playing for the Lakers and helping LeBron or doing anything to help Lakers Nation? No, he doesn't. He doesn't owe anything to y'all. Don't y'all remember that Valanciunas was on Toronto when LeBronto happened? Like, seriously, do you think he has any love lost for the LA Lakers that he's going to, try and orchestrate something to get there? Yeah, Pelinka's asleep at the wheel. The Lakers fans have FOMO, and they're making up storylines that they wish. Now, this could happen, but it would be Pelinka finally waking up and saying, oh, my God, our team sucks. I didn't do anything in the offseason. I just drafted LeBron's son. They circle around and get Jonas. It might happen. It could happen. I could see it realistically happen. But why didn't y'all just sign him outright in the summer, you idiots? Because you're not doing a good job. That's why, right there. That's right there. Yeah. All right. Blank Man saying this. Where do you rank Steph Curry all time at point guard? I got him third behind Magic and Isaiah. Isaiah won 2 rings, and if you gave him a Barkley caliber talent like Steph got with KD, in my opinion, Zeke wins 2 more rings. You know what? You're kind of speaking to my heart here. Blank Man, maybe we don't need to do politics. Let's just talk basketball, because honestly, this is a great question. I actually don't rank Steph as high as most people do in the current era, because I do have a long-term background of knowledge from the history of the NBA. And I love that you're bringing up those 2 point guards right there, best friends, Irvin and Isaiah. They are honestly in my top 5 for sure. But it's weird because in some ways, how far can we go back? Can we start talking about Oscar Robertson? Can we start talking about somebody like him? I mean, we could even there's ways you could throw Walt Frazier in here. It depends. In some ways, I don't like doing all-time rankings because they're different eras, and it's tough to really suss out the players against each other. Now, we will say this. Steph Curry has revolutionized the NBA game with his 3-point shooting and how he made the game the way it is today. In some ways, I'm mad at him for it. But in some ways, I got to respect it, because it's really different when a player of his stature completely revolutionizes the game. Sure, a big guy like Bill Russell or George Mikan or Shaq can revolutionize the game. But when Steph Curry does it, that's amazing. So in the past, I thought people with recency bias overvalued Steph Curry in saying what he does. But this Olympics, what he just did, his accolades and his impact on the game does make me think he's a top 5 point guard of all time. Now, I don't know how to rank it all exactly. In my heart, I'd say Magic Johnson's the greatest point guard to ever play in the NBA, in the history of the NBA. But yeah, I would put those 3 names in my top 5. And the other ones are probably Oscar Robertson and Walt Frazier, to be honest. So I think that those would be my 5 right there. Right there. I don't know how to order them, though. I think I put Magic first, though, at the top. And maybe Oscar second, and then maybe Steph, and then maybe Isaiah, and then maybe Walt. All right, I just said a 5 there. Isaiah, I think you're right about what you said about Isaiah. I think that the fact that the Pistons won those 2 championships was really special, considering their leading scorer was such a little guy, and just who he was. Man, good comment. Good comment. All right, Blank Man. Let's see what happens. Fill in the blanks with good stuff, and hey, your presence will be very welcome. Cool Cat saying it's nice initiative to have basketball sanctuaries around the globe. That would help grow the game globally. Yeah. I think that's the whole intent right there. And to have sanctuaries for NBA players in other continents. It's maybe like there are embassies, just like diplomacy. It's like, Jonas, you are in Europe. You need a sanctuary. You need embassy for NBA. Yeah, I need to go to the embassy. All right, go there and get your embassy stuff. I don't know, sanctuary, embassy. It's kind of similar, I guess. If you're in trouble, NBA players come to the sanctuary and you're safe. Cool guy said, I see the NBA trying to create a Raptors rivalry with the Pacers due to Pascal and other Canadians on that team. Good business strategy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this. I mean, sure, there'll be natural kind of things going on. Like we did feel it already after the trade. The couple of times we played the Pacers after the trade, Scotty and Pascal. But the problem was that Scotty got hurt, and there was only really one matchup where it was Scotty versus Pascal after the trade. And then Scotty got hurt. And the other time we played the Pacers, I think that Scotty wasn't available. Yeah, I mean, that's a natural versus. And Scotty's favorite player being Pascal, that makes it so special in some ways. In some ways, it very much is the teacher and the master kind of thing, where it's like the teacher and the student kind of thing, where Scotty was coming up underneath Siakam, learned a lot from him in the years that he got to play with him before he was traded to Indiana. And now it's like, I'm going to come and compete against you, Siakam. And we're going to go at it. Barnes versus Siakam. Yeah, that's a natural matchup. And you know what? The NBA could do this with us, with a lot of teams at this point, whether it's Houston, whether it's New York, whether it's Philadelphia, honestly. The Raptors have natural rivalries, but I don't think this rivalry between the Pacers and the Raptors is like a very heated rivalry or like a grudge match. I think it's very gentlemanly and kind of like, yeah, may the best team compete and win. Instead, there's grudge matches that are a little bit more ugly. And they're usually our Atlantic Division foes and not our Central Division other teams that are out there. Yeah. Smooth saying, remember, guys, ladies, and to be patient. That's right. This is the theme. And youngsters going to have to learn some life lessons if they can't be patient in the Raptors fans this year. Y'all need to be patient because this is going to be a process. It's a rebuild. It's officially a rebuild as of the second day of the draft this year. That's officially a rebuild. Once you bring in so many rookies into the team for a new year, that is officially a rebuild. And that means young people are going to make mistakes, especially if some of them are not fully trained to be ready to be in the NBA right away, like Ulrich Shamshe. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult at times. And in some ways, once again, our team's going to have to learn the process of what it takes to win in the NBA, how much you have to do in those 48 minutes, and how much you have to do it correctly. And in some ways, the learning process is not making turnovers in the early game that puts you in a hole right away. There's all kinds of different things that they're going to have to learn. Now, Scotty's learned a lot in his first few years of the NBA, but he's got to add to that knowledge. And in some ways, we go as far as he goes. He's the one who's going to push us higher and higher in the standings and as the leader and as the guy who has the aptitude and the ability to do it. So as he grows and as he gets better, the Raptors will get better. And in some ways, we're on his schedule. That's what we're on. So be patient with Scott as the leader in the head. Blank Man saying Kawhi at his best was the third best small forward ever behind LeBron and Bird. Wow, you're doing a lot of all-time great stuff. The 1 year that Kawhi was with us was his best year in his whole entire NBA career. It's undoubtedly true. In San Antonio, he had people helping him with his first championship. And in this one, he was the main guy who really drove us to a championship here in Toronto. It was a dream season. He had everything work out for him. In fact, that's probably maybe his favorite season he ever played. If you ask him, he'd probably tell you that. It's like, man, my 1 year in Toronto was so good, man. It's like a dream. It was like a dream. It's sad that Kawhi has been hurt so much. In some ways, the biggest mistake he made about leaving Toronto to go to LA was leaving Alex McKechnie. And the way that we load managed him, and we made that term such a big deal, he just wasn't done right there or something. Or I don't know, maybe they let him loaf too much and sit out too many games. Whatever it was, well, the Clippers experiment with Kawhi has been an absolute fail. Go check out Stunted Growth's clip on why the Clippers with 5 years of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard was a fail. Yeah, listen, I won't disagree with you. It's just we know Kawhi has had various different things in his career where he's either sat out for whatever reason, whether it was injury or being butthurt about something with the Spurs. So it's too bad. It's a wasted potential. And in some ways, it's indicative of him getting cut from the Team USA right before they came and got that. He should have gotten a gold and been there. But you know what? He's been flaky his whole career. Well, we're going to be flaky to you and not let you get in there. In some ways, there's a bit of gatekeeping on Kawhi to keep him away from looking too much like LeBron. And if he got the third championship with a third different team, that's very LeBron-like, considering Miami, LA, and Cleveland. So that there's a little bit of that. And in some ways, Kawhi, out of everybody in the recent generation, has been the closest to kind of touching the all-around greatness of LeBron. But of course, because he's missed so many games, because he just doesn't have the stat accumulation that's anywhere near James. We could always go, what could have been with Leonard? What could have been? Oh my gosh. If you could just been durable and played more. What could have been, Kawhi? Man, what could have been if you stayed in Toronto? You'll never know because you're an idiot and you listen to your Uncle Dennis. Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, Blank, you're coming in with some good stuff. All right, let's see. Smooth saying, I know I will have to remind myself the same thing. I say 35 to 47. 35 and 47 is our record for the season coming up. That's not bad. I'll take that. I really will take that. But who knows? If we get over that 35 smooth at the end of the season, we'll be smiling. We'll be smiling. Bryce is saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Good morning to you, Bryce Lawson, holding it down in the K-Tuck, the Bluegrass State, the place of Colonel Harlan Sanders. That's right. Tobias is saying, F LeBron, he's an overrated POS. You know, I want to respect LeBron. I do respect his part in the game. I respect that a lot of people respect him around the NBA. But in some ways, I also understand he's a power broker in the NBA. And in some ways, he shapes the NBA. He shapes the culture just because he is who he is and he has that much gravitas, that much power. And in some ways, that's dangerous. You know, when there was other players in the past, like Michael, he had a lot of power in the NBA. When he was at the height, he was an advertising juggernaut, a money-making machine. The Air Jordans, the Be Like Mike campaigns, the Gatorade, everything, Hanes, you know. But Mike, in some ways, didn't take this over everybody kind of spot. He wasn't arrogant as LeBron. LeBron really has tiered himself above any of the superstars that are right below him, like Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard and Steph Curry. It's like, but Michael never really actually did that. He was always kind of like in the same little group with people like Charles Barkley, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Isaiah Thomas. And that's the difference there. And that's the weird thing that bugs me and pisses me off is that LeBron, in some ways, I guess, is a competitor or something like that, but you didn't need to stratify yourself so much higher than everybody else in certain ways. You know, Michael was absolutely the number one guy in the league, did so much scoring titles, championships, awards, but it never felt like what it feels like with LeBron. Do you get what I'm saying right now? Old heads that were around in the 90s when Michael was absolutely top dog understand what I'm saying. Now, Michael was everywhere and all over the place and shoved down our throats, yeah, by the media, just like LeBron. But for some reason, it wasn't as annoying because it felt very deserved. How about that? It felt very deserved. Yeah. Let's keep going. Nako saying, hang on, it jumped ahead. We'll make sure I get every comment today, guys, and we're going to make sure we do this kind of stuff Let's see. Where are we? Here we are. Nako saying Miami probably should hard rebuild. I love Jimmy, but he's getting old. Gary would really need to lock in on defense for the Bucks to be good. All right. There's 2 comments by my good friend Gerald Mayhew. Yeah, this is the thing we've been calling the Heat for the last couple years. It's basically like Golden Girls, like "Thank you for being a friend." Do 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 do. Golden Girls retirement community. Yeah, they're getting old down there, especially when they had Lowry still. I was like, damn, the Heat are looking older and older every year. That's it right there. So, I mean, and the other thing about the Heat on the down low is they've lost size. They've lost size. They play Bam at center, and that's acceptable. But in some ways, he's not really a true center. But he does all right. But they really don't have a lot of good, sizable players on that team. They're a little bit undersized now. And they play like that scrappy, crazy kind of play. And in some ways, a lot of their success is Spoelstra. It's just the way that he does things gets success to a certain extent, but he's working with lesser talent and lesser things than he had in the past. So that's part of it too. That's part of it right there. Yeah, I mean, listen, Jimmy is a good fit in Miami, but I get what you're saying. Maybe they should do a full rebuild, kind of like us, because they're in a place. I don't know. They're gonna have to come to some crossroads in the next year. It's a similar thing to like the Warriors. The Warriors are in a crossroads too, with Klay Thompson leaving. And what do they do with Steph Curry? Now, what do they do? It's a very similar kind of situation in some ways. As far as Gary Trent Jr., Gary's really good at picking those steals out here and there. But yeah, there's going to be some things that he has to do better on defense to help the Bucks. He's definitely not going to be a replacement for what they lost in Drew Holiday. Yeah. Cowboys saying I say 38 and 49. All right. I like what you're saying. I like what I'm picking up what you're laying down, Cowboy. Yeah, Tobias saying good luck, fantasy players in their games. Thank you, Tobias. Yeah, I have a very tall order to continue to keep my lead over David. David is such a crazy competitor, and competing against him in fantasy sports is no picnic. You have to be very serious. It's a very high level fantasy play when you got to play David Saborin, and his brother's pretty cutthroat too. Peter's our fantasy champion from last season. Peter Saborin winning the fantasy championship. And yeah, he got his prize. He got his prize when he came out and saw me. I gave him his fantasy basketball prize. Yeah, let's see. 33 wins. That's what you're saying, Nako? That's all right. I'll take that too. It's a little bit lower than the 35 I'd like, but it's better than 25. I'll say that. Tommy's saying over 33, so 34 plus wins. Tommy Duke, all right. We can put this down on the ledger and we're going to figure this out by the end of the year. I don't want to do this. Just go to Vegas and bet the over on the Raptors win projection. Just do that. That's easy money every year. Vegas always undersells us. I tell Raptors fans this every single year. Put money on the over for the Raptors. Now, it didn't come through last year. Boy, did it not come through last year. But that's the aberration. Most every single year, the Raptors overachieve and get more wins than Vegas projects at the preseason. So I say that's easy money because they're probably saying something like 27 or 28 right now. And it probably is going to be in the 30s, what we get. Yeah. Tom's saying, good morning, Raptor Free Crew. Let's go, Emoticon Giant. Good friend, Tommy Dookie. I've seen some pictures of you out fishing lately, Tommy. Good to see your smiling face out there, enjoying life with your family, doing good things, Tommy. We love you. And Cowboys got the emoticon work of Tom on blast in here. Let's go. He's got the 30th anniversary logo. He's got the dunk. The dunk logo. He's got the Raptor head. He's got Masai. He's got Darko. He's got Mobo. He's got Jacoby. He's got Jamal. He's got Ulrich. He's got Brandon. He's got Mo, and me. That's right. There you go. Tommy's saying, I'm convinced I should not go to a game and expect a W because of butthole face. Tommy's a little shell-shocked. Tommy came to Toronto twice in the last couple years. And the first game he came to was an Indiana Pacers game where we lost. And it was weird. I was like, what happened? It was one of the butthole face sabotage games before Nick Nurse left. He didn't try and coach the team at the end of the game, and they lost to the Pacers. It was crazy. Well, and then he came for 2 games around the in-season tournament. We went and saw Boston in-season tournament game and also the Bucks that week. And unfortunately, we lost both those games too. So Tommy's 0-3 going to live Raptor games. We got to fix that, Tom. If you're going to come back again this year, we got to get you to a game that's more possible that we're probably going to win. And that's why I was saying, if you're going to come back again, maybe you go to that Detroit in-season tournament game with me, because that's a very highly likely game that the Raptors are going to win. And in some ways, I don't want you to feel like you're a problem for coming to Raptors games. We need to get that dub, that big W with Tommy Dookie in the house. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if you're even planning a trip here, so don't do one just in case, just because I said it. But if you are, yeah, let's do it that way, Tommy, this time. Yeah, yeah. Tommy likes the in-season tournament hype. Yeah, yeah, that was such a weird thing that day we went to that game. Of course, there's the classic story of the NBA restaurant and the Larry David moment. We were living the Curb Your Enthusiasm plot line that day. Yeah, it was so funny too, Tom, when we went back to that restaurant for Monique's birthday. Yeah, all the employees were wearing black shirts with the NBA logo on that, and they were not doing that. I felt like maybe they were setting up some sort of punked or like a prank show, and that's why they sent the Celtics server out for us on the day we're playing the Celtics in the in-season tournament, and we're sitting down for a pre-game meal, and this guy comes out and starts talking trash when he's taking our drink order. Oh, you guys feel real good, Raptors fans. You going to the game? Celtics are going to beat your ass. It's basically what he said. And what, you think Lex was going to sit there and take that? No. No, I had to cuss a man, even though it's not in my nature to cuss restaurant employees. But yeah, that was like a Larry David moment. It really was. It's like, what is the situation? How do we get in this situation? Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, it was just like that. It was crazy. Blank Man saying, okay, how about if they are all sports related topics? Yeah, that's a free game. I mean, we talk about wrestling. We'll talk about music. We'll talk about all kinds of topics. I do get political, and I am very, very, very left. I'm not even like liberal. I'm so far left. I'm way, way left. I'm more left than the mainstream left. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, that's just how I am. And in some ways, I gotta be me. This channel is so weird because it's like I free flow of just whatever I'm gonna say for 2 hours. None of this scripted, so I just gotta be me. But yeah, I love talking about wrestling. I'm actually a pro wrestling historian. Blank Man. I know a lot about the industry of professional wrestling. I studied it for like the whole time, like since the beginning, where it started out the carnivals and how it became fake over time. I actually wrote a term paper in university about how professional wrestling became fake. And so there's a lot of knowledge about that subject, a lot of knowledge about the Raptors, obviously in the NBA, and then a lot of knowledge about music. I do know quite a bit about music. I was a radio DJ in Florida on FM radio for about 10 years down south. So there's a lot about music I know also. But yeah, politics, I get all amped up about too. Yeah. It's just we talk about all kinds of stuff. But I love talking about sports related stuff. As long as it's on point with Raptors, more connected NBA. I'm not going to talk about MLB. I'm not going to talk about NHL. I'm not going to talk about NFL. No, NBA, sure. I touch very surface level stuff on the other sports. In fact, with the Olympics, I didn't watch hardly any of it. So, Cowboys saying, I like that the Raptors aren't at Rico runs and that we're doing our own thing. Chef Darko runs. Yeah, I like that too. I like that it's official. I like that the coaches are there, and it seems like most of the players are there. Let's do the Instagram story, since it seems like this is the way to find out where these guys are. We'll start with Kelly Olynyk. As I said, they got a mixtape of Kelly's best assists from last season. The first play is this beautiful play against the Pacers where Kelly was at the top of the key and he threw a beautiful alley-oop pass to Ochai Agbaji, who threw it down from the side, coming from the baseline. And man, it was so beautiful. It was amazing athleticism of Agbaji, and then the pinpoint passing of Kelly. And of course, they had time accrued with each other on the Jazz ahead of time coming in. So some of that chemistry was brought over from the Jazz franchise. And that play is just so awesome. And it's amazing how many of the passes Kelly made in this clip that are almost alley-oops, if not alley-oops. They're very much passes right to at the basket, and the guy's just laying it in. So, yeah, Kelly's a really underrated passer, and he put it on blast. He reposted the Raptors posting of his assists on his own Instagram stories. There's the telltale sign. Right there in the second story of Kelly Olynyk's Instagram, paella. Yeah, paella. Spanish paella. Yeah, and they look like some very nice mussels or clams or whatever it is in the middle of it. Man, I would love some paella. It's so good. That means he's in Spain with the guys. So it's not like he finished the Olympics with playing France and then Canada's done and he leaves Europe. I don't know. Did he fly back to Canada for a second? No, don't jet lag yourself. Just go take a break, enjoy the resort. Darko's going to say, when you're ready, Kelly, I know because you guys were playing, although Kelly didn't play a whole lot, the Team Canada,
he could probably just go straight to the Raptors training camp in Malaga and be fine and not need a rest period. Now, RJ, that may be true that he may have needed some time in between before he went straight into an intensive Raptors training camp in Spain. That because he was a little bit more high usage and the Olympics, and RJ in some ways he probably needs a break, but who knows? Maybe he's there too. He's just relentless. I don't know. I can only speculate. But yeah, also there's Kelly walking down a very lit up red hallway, and I bet that's in the sanctuary. So we see Kelly's in a part of the sanctuary right there. So there's some evidence that Kelly Olynyk is with the Raptors in Spain after the Olympics, playing for Team Canada. Makur is hanging out with some buddies doing a podcast. Precious is doing his camp, and he's got a lot of kids there at the Port Harcourt City What If Unlimited camp. Beautiful to see all the kids doing jumping jacks and working out and getting instruction from former Raptor Precious Achiuwa. Also, he's got the clock. He's in there at 6:30 in the morning, guys, their time, starting things up. There you go. Shamshay celebrating other countrymen from the continent of Africa. I shouldn't say countrymen. Another NBA player has been signed. His name is Babacar Sane. He's going to the Jazz. So he's celebrating him. And also there's a clip out about Ulrich, about his path from Africa. And he's in the clip and he's reposted in his Instagram stories too. That's pretty cool. I like that. Let's see. Raptors Instagram. As I said, they're posting eyes. I don't know what you're trying to do. The Raptors fans in social media comments are saying you're edging us, Raptors admin. That's gross. First of all, that's gross. Whoever is saying that the Raptors admin is edging them, you're gross. All right. Y'all get over yourselves, you little purple gremlins out there. That's what I'm going to start calling you, the purple gremlins. The people that love purple so much that they're just whining and crying in all the comment sections. When is the purple rebrand? Just announce the rebrand already. You purple gremlins. You silly little purple gremlins. You're so silly. I don't know what those eyes mean. Maybe those eyes mean it's Bruce Brown's birthday. I don't know why you guys got to get. I know they're trying to get excitement and get y'all stirred up, but yeah, you're gonna say they're edging you. That's gross. That's gross. Don't say stuff like that. That your vernacular is gross. Let's just say nobody's edging anyone. All right. Gary Trent Sr. has got the youngsters dribbling around cones. And it's so funny because the move that he's teaching these young kids is the exact move that Gary Trent Jr. does all the time in games. You know that little shuffle around like Akeem Olajuwon dream shake that Gary does, where he uses a pivot foot to turn around and turn the other way and then lay it up around the guy. Yeah, these kids are learning it. So it's a Gary Trent Sr. training move. And then it's so goofy. Some of them are really goofy at it, but it's really funny how they do it. But the kids are making the shot, and I'm actually kind of proud of them. It's a really interesting drill. So check out Gary Trent Sr.'s Instagram stories, and you'll see how he trained Gary Trent Jr. to do that little move. Because all of his brothers are doing it in it. It's crazy. It's the exact same move. You know the one I'm talking about. The one where Gary acts like he's going up, and then he pivots and turns the other way and then comes around and lays it up. Yeah, these youngsters are learning that move. It's so funny. Yeah, but there's a lot of clips of that stuff. And then also Gary's got this weird thing where he's taking ramen noodles. Like there's an epidemic of parasites on us we didn't even know. And they look through the microscope at the ramen noodles, and there's like little parasites all over the noodles. And they're saying these are living inside of you. Now, this is kind of a scare tactic. Because honestly, to tell you the truth, people have parasites living in them all the time. There's actually like good parasites in your life. I mean, good little microorganisms that are gut flora and stuff like that make you like healthy. So it's weird. But yeah, there probably is some gross stuff on manufactured ramen noodles. I have no idea. But either way, you get what you get. You can pay 30 cents or something. Well, watch out. There may be little weird bugs on it, is basically what Gary Trent Sr. is saying. He's also got this guy who's got a truck. He's driving it and he's handicapped and he sits in a wheelchair, and they customize the truck so he could open it up while he's sitting in the wheelchair and get out. That's pretty cool, actually. That's a pretty cool truck. Let's see. He's also got some baby cooking. He's really infatuated with how Chinese children cook when they're like toddlers. Yeah, Gary Trent Sr. keeps posting these videos of like Chinese kids cooking in woks. And like he's like really enthralled with how they teach the kids to feed themselves from like a toddler. They learn how to walk, they learn how to cook, is basically what's going on over there. So that's pretty interesting there. Let's see. Is there anything else in his clips that are worth talking about? Not really. Let's see. What else is there here? Norman Powell's in the gym on the grind as usual. He's always on the grind. It looks like superfan Nav Bhatia is at a tennis event, the National Bank Open. Where is that? Where are you, Nav? He's with his friend Sam, who goes to a lot of the Raptors games. Let's see who else we got. We got Emmanuel Quickly. He's got a very beautiful skyline at the resort in Malaga, and we can see his legs kicked out like he's laying back. Yeah, that's beautiful. And these guys are probably just like, it's a balance of like work and connection and learning from Darko with like relaxation, comfort, beautiful scenery, amazing food, pampering of massages. I'm sure that's all going on. Koloko is I got a clip of him working out, guys. He's lifting the heavy ball over his head, getting closer. Hopefully, man. It says till the wheels fall off. And man, Koloko, man, they got a rule on you, man. We got to figure out. You should be in Spain already, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, Koloko is working hard. I can see him putting the time in the gym and doing what he's got to do to try and get back to the NBA. Scotty has posted a beautiful vista in Malaga, Spain. He's saying, what a beautiful day. He's showing the beautiful community of the houses on the hillside. And then he pans over and you see mountains and just a beautiful region of Spain. And Scotty, as I said, Emmanuel's having an international summer, traveling all the way around the place. Well, so is Scotty. We got to remember, he was in China and Hong Kong at the beginning of the summer, and he's been in all over the place and internationally also this summer. So world traveler Scotty Barnes, enjoy your life, man. Live your best life. We love you, bro. And just get that great NBA career. Keep on striving and rising. That's right. That's what it's all about. There, Raptors 905, putting on blast the champion that Omari Moore is with Niagara River Lions. I don't know if they were asleep at the wheel or something. 905, you're just celebrating him now. Am I waking y'all up to what y'all need to be doing? Like, because seriously, I do a clip on Omari Moore, and all of a sudden y'all start posting the stuff on your Instagram accounts. Y'all wake up. If you want me to teach you guys what to post on, you can watch me every morning and get the ideas. That's fine. I have no problem with that. Raptors Instagram, Raptors 905 Instagram admin. Yeah. They got ahead of me, though, this morning with the Bruce Brown birthday. They're like, oh, Bruce Brown's birthday. We better post it before Raptor Streak's on at 9:30. They don't want to seem like they forgot. They also have Marquise Noel's assist mixtape from last season. That's nice to see. You know, Marquise, it's a weird story that happened the one year he played for the Raptors with his quad injury. Really sad. But you know what? He had some amazing plays. Let's not lie. He had some amazing plays last year for them. And, of course, more clips from Siakam from his camp in Cameroon and the Indiana Pacers gear everybody's putting on. Yeah, yikes, yikes, yikes. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see. That's your Instagram stories. There you go. There you go. All right, where are we now? We are on we are on Cowboy. Blank Man, do you know Nameless? I don't know. Blank Man could be anybody. You know, he even could be maybe MSJ. What if MSJ came back as Blank Man? That'd be funny. That'd be funny. All right, let's see. Cool Cat saying the in-season tournament encourages fans to watch games earlier. Most fans wait until the playoffs to watch games, so casual fans' viewership will increase earlier in the season. You know what? This is number one probably why they did this. Cool Cat just hit the nail on the head. A lot of fans, you know, they get into football in the fall, and they just watch NFL. And then, like, I don't watch the NBA or the NHL until the playoffs. You know, also the World Series is happening around that time too. So in some ways, the NBA making something more attractive and competitive, like the in-season tournament around that time is, you know, in some ways they put it on after the World Series. But NFL's and really in its stretch run for like really important stuff. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. And I think it did exactly what they wanted and what Cool Cat's saying here. There were more casual fans of the NBA that actually tuned in and watched NBA games in November that they wouldn't have done that in the years before. Brian's saying, got to go, Lex, and Freak Nation, about to go film with Coach Roach. There you go, Brian. Have a good segment filmed with Coach Roach. Y'all to the point. Y'all check it out. It's on YouTube. It's another YouTube channel covering the Raptors and all kinds of basketball-related stuff. Brian's awesome. So give him some support and give him a sub, guys. Give him a sub. Randolph saying, Lex, I've always had my reservations about the team being at Rico Runs, where the strengths and weaknesses are put on display. Concerned that teams get data to plan and scheme for us. Keep it private. You know, I thought about this too a couple times too, Randolph. And you know what? This is a concern. because in some ways there's so much clips of Raptors at Rico Hines runs in the couple years before this. This is true. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. In some ways, it's also like we've said, it's not pure NBA competition. Sure, the talent is probably there, but how much are they playing to the level of what is intensity of an NBA game? There's all kinds of things we could say, but you know what? I've thought about this too. And this could be a concern, especially since the coach of Rico Hines is a Philadelphia 76ers coach, and his head coach is going to be around there lurking. Why would we send our Raptors back there? It's awkward. Our former coach is there, sitting on the sidelines watching everybody. In some ways, that's exactly it right there. You go there, and there's so many other teams that are represented, and Randolph's probably right. He's probably right. Kareem saying, as an NFL guy, the NBA don't start till Christmas. See, even our friend Butt Dial saying this right here. But now with the in-season tournament, basketball has a little bit more aura for the beginning of the season. Yeah, that's it right there. That's it right there. He loves the NFL. He's a running back, Kareem Thomas. He was a very good running back until an injury hurt his career. Man, Kareem is a high-level football player. And in some ways, that's why he loves the NFL. But you know what? He's kind of like, whoa, I'm a little distracted. Wait, what's going on here? It's just like that meme walking down the street. Kareem's like walking with the NFL and he sees the in-season tournament. He's turning his head. He's like, oh, and NFL's like, what are you looking at, honey? You know that meme I'm talking about. That's what Kareem has to do now because of the in-season tournament. And Adam Silver's smiling because of that. That's right. That's right. Blank Man saying, I do not know Nameless. Is he awesome? He must be not to even need a name. He's interesting. He's an Italian plumber like Mario and Luigi. And he's been my Italian teacher on this channel for a couple years. He usually teaches me Italian, and it's pretty fun. But he's been in an apprenticeship program in the recent 6 months. He was here every day for a long time, but he's gone to plumbing school. And now he's officially a plumber going on calls. And I think he actually went to the plumbing school on Scotty Barnes trade school stuff. I mean, I'm saying, like, dude, you're going to plumbing school. That's what Scotty would want you to do. He's all about his trade school program. And Nameless is just doing exactly what Scotty wanted him to do. What a great Raptors fan. Listen to Scotty and taking a trade school class and becoming a plumber. But yeah, Nameless is one of our favorite jokesters. And he does exist. He doesn't have a name, but Monique met him at a game last year. He was at a game and he found Monique, and Monique met Nameless. So we know he exists, even if he has no name. So, yeah. Cowboy saying, I agree 100%, Randolph. Alley-oop to Randolph Phillips. I'll do that real quick. Randolph is a unsung wise man on our channel. We love the blessings he always brings and the advice also. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I do. And in some ways, maybe we're too open about things. And maybe Nick Nurse, that was part of his strategy to sabotage us. Think about that. Who was sending our guys to Rico? It was Nick. Let's put all y'all on display so all the teams can get all the scouting reports on y'all at Rico runs. Yeah, there you go. Randolph, you got the Coloco 35, my guy. Or should I say the Carlson 35? I don't know. We're going to have to see what happens with Coloco. Is he going to be coming in and saying, hey, Brandon, I know you're 35 right now, but I kind of want my number back. I love Kevin Durant, and I'm going to need that 35 back from you. How much? And Brandon Carlson will be like, oh, yeah, I'll sell it to you. Or maybe you won't even sell it to him. You just give it back to him because he's a nice guy. I don't know. But 35 right now is Carlson, but 35 could be Coloco again very soon. Very, very soon. There's a dunk for Randolph. He's at 35, baby. Nako's saying Raptors are building a great culture. OKC was and is building a good culture, and Scotty will be better than Tatum. Ooh, coming with the fire, Gerald. Come with that fire, Gerald. Yes. I love that last statement. I'm going to give you a dunk just for that. Somebody just drove by here. It sounded like a plane just drove by here. It's crazy. It's like a low-flying plane just barnstormer just went by here. All right, where's Nako the Nacho? Where's Gerald? There he is. I'm going to give you a three-pointer, my guy. That was awesome. 27 dunks for our good friend Gerald. I think that you're right. I think that Darko is the centerpiece of that culture, and that people that don't understand Darko, you will over time, because he's building a culture here. Once again, just like Nick Nurse built a culture, just like Spoelstra's built a culture in Miami, Popovich in San Antonio, culture is so important around NBA teams, and Darko Rajakovic is a culture setter. And in some ways, that's part of what they're doing in Spain right now. They're setting some culture. Cal was saying, alley-oop to Blank Man. All right. Nameless is awesome. Yeah, he's not Black Man. He's Blank Man. You wrote him in as Black Man. He's not Rolando, guy. All right, let's see. Blank Man. He's Damon Wayans, my guy. He's Damon Wayans. What is this? Like, homie, don't play that. Homie, don't play that. I remember that. All right, he's got the Grady Dick one. Blank Man is on the dunk sheet now. He's got the Grady Dick one dunk at this point. There you go. Yeah. It's Blank Man, not Rolando. Tommy's laughing. Cool Cat said Jaylen Brown is a highly intelligent human. His IQ is off the charts since a kid. He was always questioned why basketball instead of his smarts. But B-ball money will fund his initiatives. NBA scared. He's an interesting guy because I love this story about Jaylen Brown that I found out in recent years. Jaylen Brown grew up in Atlanta, and he was a troublemaker when he was young. In some ways, he's like me. We're too smart for our own good. It's that kind of stuff. In some ways, it's like that's a true statement. You can be too smart for your own good because you understand the bullshit of life, and you kind of are like, oh, man. And Jaylen Brown is like me in that way. And in some ways, he was such a bad kid in school because he was a rebel and he kind of was smart and he understood how full of shit a lot of things were. He got in a lot of trouble with his teachers. And apparently there's a teacher that told him, you're never going to amount to nothing. You're going to be in jail in like 3 years. And he like, well, look what he did. He's an NBA champion this year and a finals MVP. So that teacher was completely wrong. But yeah, in some ways, sometimes if you are a very intelligent person, you can see through the veil of bullshit in society. You get ostracized and pushed aside, and you're not mainstream. In some ways, that's partly, things that can happen to people is like you start telling the truth too much. Well, the money people don't want to come and talk to you. They don't want to come talk to you. There's probably people in the Raptors organization be like, man, we get Raptors Freak involved, but man, he's too outspoken. And he's saying all kinds of crazy political shit all the time that we just can't be associated with. So me being an independent broadcaster that's not officially affiliated with the NBA or the Raptors is good because I want to be unfiltered. And Jaylen Brown, he is in the NBA and they want to filter him, but he don't want to be unfiltered like me. And that's it right there. That's right. Blank Man said, I'm Blank Man, not Black Man, even though technically it's the same thing. Man, this guy's coming around. I was really worried. Like, I can understand. All right, listen, I don't want everybody to just agree with everything I say. In some ways, part of what I'm doing is to enlighten. And that's up to you if you want to believe the same things I said. My opinions on Brittany Griner are solely my own, and Blank Man's are his too. But I can get along with somebody and not be totally, completely 100% on the same way. In fact, once again, I'll commend Blank Man for coming in on Monday and having a dissenting opinion from the general group here. And it was fine. He did it in a responsible, respectful way, and we allowed it, and we didn't jump all over him, and I didn't just kick him out. So, man, there's some good growth there in certain ways. I mean, maybe a couple of years ago, if we had a dissenting opinion, we'd just kick you out. But I'm trying to be a lot more open to all kinds of stuff. And then this way, I appreciate you being a lesson for me, Blank Man. Honestly, I'm going to give you another dunk. So now you are actually at the number 2, which is, I believe, is Mobo. Mobo's number 2 now, I believe. Jonathan Mobo is wearing 2. I believe he is. I want to say that he's number 2. I think he is. Carton's number 3. I know that. He's got OG's number now. Kareem saying, so did we crack the code that Nameless is Blank Man? My Dick Tracy antenna is sensing something. I'm glad you wrote the word Tracy in there. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. Do I get a dunk for that joke? I'm just glad you wrote the word Tracy in there. Seriously, Kareem. Seriously, I saw that as he said, oh, I hope he's not going here. And like the word antennas in here also. Yeah, I don't think he is Nameless because he doesn't understand who he is. I mean, we've had this tradition of anonymous contributors to the Raptor Freak stream. We've got Nameless, we got Infamous, we've got Blank Man now. So yeah, this is just part of it. It's just part of it. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Cowboy saying, my bad, bro. Spell check. He's like, he feels bad because he called him Black Man. Well, I mean, I don't know. Blank Man saying Blank Man is a funny superhero movie for your information. It is. It's an amazing movie. I'm a huge fan of Damon Wayans. When I used to watch In Living Color, my 2 favorites were Damon and Jim Carrey. Like a lot of people. It's like Jim Carrey, obviously, with Fire Marshal Bill and all that crazy ass shit he was doing on that show, like Vera, that crazy bodybuilder lady. He was so good. In fact, I often say Jim Carrey is better on that show than anything he did in the movies. That the best part of Jim Carrey's career is In Living Color. And Damon Wayans, similar, very similar. The best thing he ever did in his career, forget about the sitcoms and the movies he did, was the stuff he did on In Living Color also. But they were the stars. And in some ways, Damon Wayans will always have a place in my heart for Homie Don't Play That. And him and David Allen Greer doing the Men on Film and all the different sketches and characters that those guys did were amazing. And of course, one of the movies he made was Blank Man, where he played a hooded superhero. Yeah, it was pretty goofy. It is and down on the some of it is funny, but some of it is not totally PC for nowadays in some ways. So, but either way, that's the way a lot of old media is. And time passes, and some people are like, okay, that doesn't fly today because that's very offensive. There's a lot of that kind of stuff in old media for sure. But yeah, Blank Man's a good movie. If y'all haven't seen it, go check it out if you can. Cowboys saying, what's your NFL team? Kareem, dunk champion? Are you asking Kareem or are you asking me? My NFL team, it was historically the Buccaneers because of Tampa Bay being the closest to Tallahassee. And that was the one that I would see on TV. I also didn't mind the Jaguars, but they were never that good. Jacksonville with Maurice Jones-Drew and Fred Taylor. That was kind of when I was watching them. But also the Bucks, mostly because a lot of Seminoles ended up playing for them, like Warwick Dunn, Derek Brooks, people like that. So it's historically, I'm a Bucks Nation guy. Tampa Bay, that's my NFL team, and I don't know what Kareem's is. I would guess his maybe the Bills, just because that's a lot of people from this area of the world's team is Buffalo. Kareem said, oh yeah, Broncos. I remember because he said this before, because he actually goes to Denver to go to Broncos games some point in the season. I remember he was saying, yeah, I went to Denver to go to the Broncos game. That's right. He's a big Broncos fan. That's right. That's since 96. Terrell Davis is my favorite NFL player of all time. A Cowboy. I thought he was going to say he's a Cowboy. No, a Cowboy. He's the Cowboy, Canadian Cowboy. Good luck. He's saying good luck to you. He doesn't believe in the Broncos. Whoa. John Elway and Kareem have something to say to you. Come on now. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Bryce is saying, laugh out loud. Lex, be real. It's not hard to tell that if Steph isn't the best point guard, then he's the second. See, Bryce, you got to understand this. I understand Bryce is a younger person. He's in his 20s. You have to know what it was like back then. And in some ways, I can't put Steph at second. I can't. I know a lot of people do that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Who did I put at second? Oscar Robertson. You got to remember this, Bryce. All right, Magic, partly because of the effect him and Bird had on the league. They absolutely saved the league. The league was in trouble financially, and they may have gone bankrupt. There may not be an NBA today if there wasn't for Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Let me tell you that, because the NBA was in a bad place PR-wise at around 1980. That they were known as a cocaine league. The Phoenix Suns almost destroyed the whole league from being just cokeheads. So they needed good PR. So Bird and Magic coming in and the great rivalry that they built absolutely generated so much. And that's why what's happening in the WNBA is going to be successful too, because this Clark Reese thing is very reminiscent of the Bird Magic thing. And in some ways, that will be the thing that buoys up the WNBA and makes people watch it more and more because they want to see that rivalry. So in some ways, Magic was something totally different than ever was seen. He was one of the most benevolent, giving players in the history of the game. And that's why he's compared to Scottie, because Scottie is the exact kind of person and spirit. So, man, you got to go back and watch Magic Johnson more. And I will also say you need to find out about Oscar Robertson and how he averaged triple doubles. I mean, look, you guys can overvalue the 3-point shot in this age and day and age, but I won't, because that's just one component. It's one of many, many stats on the stat sheet. And when you talk about stat stuffing, Johnson and Robertson did that more than Curry. And that's why I will rank them both over Steph Curry and the greatest point guards of all time. And all old heads are hearing me right now. They're like, this guy's bona fide. He's for real, because he knows that Magic and Oscar are better than Steph. I mean, you can ask Smooth Brown Man. You can ask Randolph Phillips. You can ask Trevor J. You can ask all the old heads on this channel about Oscar Robertson, about Magic Johnson, and they will say exactly what I said. Now, I'm not willing to put Zeke over Steph. And that was the question Blank Man brought up. In some ways, that's partly because of championships. Zeke only got 2, and Steph got 5 or something. And he did change the game. So that's my concession right there. I'll say Steph Curry's the third best point guard in the history of the NBA. Third. And I won't concede the top two for him. And this is, in some ways, this is just generations, Bryce. And I don't want to disrespect the younger generation for not knowing the history of the game and exactly why Oscar Robertson is better than Steph Curry. But, you know, you can go talk to anybody who's older and that knows. I didn't even get to see Oscar Robertson in his prime. And I know that Oscar Robertson is the real deal Holyfield. I mean, I'm serious. He was Russell Westbrook back in the day with the triple-double average. Like, this is what I'm saying, Bryce. Oscar Robertson did double-digit figures for a whole entire season in scoring, points, rebounds, and assists. All three of them were double digits for the whole year. You can't tell me. I mean, seriously, Russell did it, but he did it only for 1 year. Robertson did it multiple years. So I'm just saying, I'm just saying, in some ways, there's recency bias. And in some ways, Steph, when you gauge him in the history of the league, people are forgetting how good some certain people were, is what I'll say. Right there. Yeah. Bryce is saying the black hole Steph creates is much stronger than all those players you just named. You have no idea. Bryce, can you honestly say that you're educated enough on Oscar Robertson to say that? I don't think you can. I mean, listen, we're going to talk about accolades. Sure, Steph probably beats Oscar as far as championships and things like that. But you have to understand what he was. And Magic would tell you Oscar's better than him. Seriously. Magic Johnson would come forward and say, yeah, Oscar Robertson was better than me. He would say that. I've heard him say that. So Kareem saying best point guard of all time is Stephon Marbury when he moved to Beijing. Okay, he's trying to be funny. Well, maybe China would say that. Best point guard ever, Stephon Marbury. Okay, well, you're looking at your stats over there in your country because I don't know what he's done in China. I have no idea what he's done over there. But when he was on the Timberwolves with Kevin Garnett, yeah, it didn't go anywhere. They had cool jerseys. They had very cool jerseys in that era. The little trees around the lining. But, man, he didn't do jack shit for the Timberwolves to help them win. And once again, Steph Marbury, he's the kind of point guard I hate. The score-first point guard that it really doesn't try to pass or do anything. High usage, inefficient, doesn't score. He's in that category with AI and a lot of these other guys that played in the league over the years. That in some ways, I don't even consider him a point guard. He's a glorified shooting guard that's short, is what Steph Marbury is. Yeah, Starman, Starboy, Starbury. That's right. G saying Magic is my all-time favorite point guard because of his passing and playmaking. Steph is more of a combo guard, and he has changed the game and concept of guards forever. Yeah. Boom goes the dynamite. Gee, once again, our original number one, first ever Raptor Freak trivia champion showing his knowledge. And you know what? That's part of it. Go watch a Magic Johnson mixtape, and you'll see how he passes the ball like between people's legs and just how he plays with the rhythm and the way he used to dribble up the court. He's special. And in some ways, people really got to go get their history lessons. Seriously. And this is the thing. Magic won 5 championships. So he's there with Steph on that. He's there with him on that. And in some ways, he did it in exactly what G said. In some ways, it's true. Steph is more of a combo guard. He's not even a pure point guard, to be honest. In some ways, he's not known. In some ways, I can't put somebody at the top of the point guard list that doesn't actually play the role exactly. And you have to be a point guard to be the top point guard in the whole entire league. And in some ways, I could make an argument that Steph Curry is not even a point guard, that he's a combo guard at best and maybe a shooting guard more even. I mean, people say, no, he passes too. He throws the ball around. Yeah, but does he do it like Johnson did? No, he doesn't. Blank Man saying, why did Vancouver lose the Grizzlies to Memphis? I assume over money, but why do you think it didn't work out? I remember they had some talent in Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Big Country Bryant Reeves, and Mike Bibby. Well, this is what I'll say. We kind of talked about this in the last couple of days, that we were actually saying that Steve Francis was a big nail in the coffin for the Memphis move to go to the Grizzlies, to go there, because he refused to come to Vancouver. Everything kind of unraveled after that. The money situation, yes. The fans weren't coming. They were losing like crazy. There was a problem with the arena and changing the arena. And Stu Jackson, who was the head of the Grizzlies, in some ways they were inept in how they ran that team. They did horrible at drafting. They did horrible in free agency. They did horrible with building a team that could compete, and they won like 20 games a season. So that team was just failing left and right. And Steve Francis kind of put the nail in the coffin for it when he refused to report to the Grizzlies when he was drafted by them. Everything went downhill after that. So that's basically it right there. Cowboy saying everyone slam dunk that like button. Appreciate that, Cowboy. I appreciate that a lot, my guy. Let's see what else you guys are saying in here. All right, hang on. And we do have a cutoff, so please respect the cutoff. If Monique lays the cutoff down, Bryce is saying, I think Magic is the best point guard. Bro, I won a championship his rookie year playing center in the finals, then continue to be great. Yeah, Magic is something else. And in some ways, I respect the Lakers of Magic, but I don't respect the Lakers of LeBron. I respect the Lakers of Kobe to a degree, a lot of it, but not all of it. But I respect all of the Lakers of Magic. Yeah. Yeah, that was actually a team I really enjoyed watching, and I was semi a Laker fan at that time. But LeBron's killed it for me. He absolutely destroyed it. In some ways, Kobe was so dominant and hit with Shaq that annoyed me too. Them winning so many championships in the 2000s, the referees railroading the Kings and against the Lakers that one year. Yeah, in some ways, I don't root for teams that get special privilege. And in some ways, the Lakers with Magic did not, and they were badasses just on being badasses. G saying Jordan didn't call himself the king. He just was. LeBron has marketed himself very well and has had an amazing career. But for me, anointing yourself is off-putting. It's cocky. It's like, I hate this guy. But you know what? In some ways, he's right. But also at the same time, do you have to do this? Really? Because Michael never had to say he was the greatest. He never had to say anything about his achievements. Everybody else said it for him. And in some ways, that's way more G and more awesome than LeBron proclaiming it himself in interviews. In some ways, that shows that he's kind of insecure, that he has to secure his accolades around him by professing them himself. Well, Michael just had accolades thrown at him like crazy because he was so amazing, and he didn't have to talk about it. Everybody just knew it. And that is a big difference right there. So he's saying Toronto was very fortunate to get the best of Kawhi. He's finished. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sucks because we think about how long he's been in the league and how little he's accomplished. He really is a top-notch player in the league. And I think what Blankman said earlier is true, that he could have had that potential to be rivaling LeBron a bit more and be more included in this. Everybody knows he's so powerful and he's awesome, but it's just, when is he available? When is he available? Yeah. Let's see. Tobias saying, do you do NBA fantasy? Yeah, we're going to do NBA fantasy on this channel. We have a league with our people from this channel, and we get a lot of players. We'll bank like 20 teams. So we had a lot of teams last year, and it was kind of crazy. And some people complained about it because there were a lot of people that had teams that they didn't like take care of. They were deadbeat managers. So in some ways, if anybody wants to play NBA fantasy with us this season, you better be serious, and you better be taking care of your team, because we're not about that. We want real competition in there, because people that have come in the past have not taken care of their team over the whole season, and that's been a problem. So, Tobias, if you're interested, you could probably play. We'll talk about it more when we're getting close to the season and getting our draft together and doing it again. But yeah, we do it every year, and there is a prize. I gave a trophy to Peter with a ring. He got a little mini trophy, a Larry O'Brien with a ring for winning our championship last year. So there are prizes for playing fantasy in our channel and winning. Wayne saying the partnership of Scotty Barnes and Darko is the most important relationship to determine the Raptors' success going forward. Dylan Brooks shooting won us bronze. Steph won U.S. gold. That's the goal. Interesting. That's an interesting last little part. I think this is true. Barnes and Rajakovic partnership is extremely important. And the great thing is that they fit real well. And in some ways, they're very personable personalities, very positive people. So they share that. And then the other thing is Darko's really amazing, because honestly, he really isn't trying to design things with his own ego involved. He's looking at Scott and understanding who he is and what his potentials are, and he's building it around him and what he can see in the vision of him in the future. And this is the thing. Darko has a track record with getting really good development out of players from Memphis. And if he's tailoring things, like I said this last year, that I think that a big reason why Scotty made such a huge jump last season and how good he was and when he wasn't hurt last year is partly because Darko's direction immediately coming in. That in some ways, I don't know, some people complain in the second year of Scotty's career that he was lost. and that he wasn't really getting any traction and getting better. It was very similar to his rookie year. Well, I blame Nick once again for like dropping the ball on waiting around on Scotty's development that year. And that's maybe why he was a little flatlined with like not coming up with his game after his rookie year and his second year. Well, he did come up in his third year, and he had a new coach that year. And I do really give more credit to Darko in some ways, along with Brian Macon and Scotty himself for the work he did last summer. But in some ways, Darko's directing him in directions to go into with his progress and what he's working on in training. And well, Scotty trusts him. He's listening to him. He goes and does the things he wants him to do in the offseason to get better. Well, that's what we're seeing. And in some ways, it's very specific. It's very specific, and it's very much different actions, different skills, and different tools that Darko's asking Scotty to get better at. And he's already let it be known that he sees him doing more things like Anaconto in the years to come, as far as being that kind of dominant offensive player and like being a real threat in transition, like Giannis is. Giannis is coming down the court with the ball. Well, we want people to be just as afraid of Scott as when that happens with the Greek Freak. So that's what it's looking like right there. Yeah. All right, let's see. Bryce is saying, when does fantasy start, Lex? Well, just like when the season starts. And some point in the preseason, we'll do a fantasy draft on a Sunday report. It'll be 11. It'll be a 9:30 in the morning draft on the regular stream. We'll do it live on the stream. You get to watch it. Everybody who's not participating can actually watch us do the draft. We've done that every year since this channel started. So yeah, we'll do that. Cowboy saying, is that a ganja-free studio? Right now, I have not smoked any cannabis in this studio right now because I'm out in the country and I can just go outside on a beautiful day and sitting on the picnic table and toke it outside. So no, I have not toked in here, but I could probably do it, Cowboy. It's my rules. I could do it if I wanted to, but I've not wanted to get any smoke in here so far. This is a very beautiful new studio that we just built this summer. And in some ways, I want to keep it as nice as possible for as long as possible. There you go. There you go. Cowboy's saying Trevor J. He's laughing at Trevor J. He must have said something funny. Let's see. Isaac's got the tractor. What, you want to see the farmer's app? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll do that. We'll do Leo's life tip real quick. How about that? Leo's saying today we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. I like that. I like that. So there's finite disappointment, meaning your disappointment is going to pass. It's like this storm will pass. Let time pass. It'll go by. But if you keep infinite hope, your life is great. You just got to have infinite hope. I love this. In some ways, the world can be dark and depressing. And well, we got to have hope, just like in Star Wars, A New Hope. Da, na, 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 na. You know, you got to have some hope in your life. And, you know, hope that things are going to be better. Hopefully, a very good election in the U.S. this fall. Oh, my gosh. Hopefully. I have a lot of hope about it. I have good hope. I think it's going to be good. Seymour saying, wow, since I lost my wrench, no notifications, no nothing. Thanks, YouTube. Wishing you all a great day. Go Raps. I'm out. Gonna go back to work. What? Is it really that bad, Seymour? All right. As long as you don't do any butt dial stuff, I'll give you your wrench back. You really want your wrench back? I'll give you your wrench back right here. All right. Because you're not getting told when the streams are happening. No, we can't have that. Seymour's got to be here on time, especially because he's holding it down in the middle region of Canada and Alberta. Yeah, we can't have this. All right, you want a wrench? You got a wrench back. And hopefully it'll tell you when I'm on. A blank man saying, what do you think? Who do you think has more talent, Master P or Bronny James? Wow, this is an interesting question. I'll go ahead and say Master P, and it's partly because he's a diverse threat. He played in the NBA. He did actually get invited to our training camp and was a Raptor in training camp. Didn't make the team. Didn't even play. I don't think he actually played in the NBA, but he was in the Raptors training camp one summer. And then also he has, of course, his music, Master P. And then also he went and did wrestling for a little while. He was on WCW. So he's a triple threat. So in some ways, because he's a triple threat. Now, Bronny, I don't want to sully him too much because that is very in vogue right now. And in some ways, I feel sorry for the kid because he's in a very horrible position due to his dad and Adam Silver, that he's just destined to fail. He might as well be David Flair on WCW right now. We saw what David Flair did when he tried to come in and be his dad, and he didn't have the body for it. That's the big part of it right there. The analogy is very clear right here. Like Ric Flair had a body to wrestle, even though it wasn't that good, but he still could wrestle and look good. David Flair never did anything to fix his body. Now, LeBron's very tall and big, and Bronny James, they fudged his height. They lied to them. Let's just straight up call it what it is. There's a lot of young players coming in the league right now that they're adding an inch or two to just to try and help them with their draft stock. And Bronny James is one of them. So, there's your easy answer. Master P. Yeah. Yeah. Master P. Easy is what Seymour's saying. And Cowboys saying Master P. Master P was a Raptor. That's right. That's right. Smooth saying, I lost respect for Nick Nurse. The way he checked out. If you don't want a job anymore, just leave. Never do what he did. The money's so good. And in some ways, I feel like that was the hardest year of Nick Nurse's life in some ways. I feel like in some ways, listen, Nick was not easily turned on us. I think he really did buy in with Masai and us, and he wanted to be like our Popovich. But I think Rich Paul, when he started, when he took Clutch as his representation, is when it all went downhill. Let's just put it that way. The former relationship between Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse in Houston, when he coached the G League team for them, the Rio Grande Vipers. There was a relationship before, and Daryl Morey had eyes and designs for him to come coach Philly. And well, it could have very well been that there was a lot of talking between Rich Paul, Daryl Morey, without even Nick Nurse hearing it. And they kind of had a whole script that they wanted to write out. And you know what, Nick, it probably isn't like him to be disloyal. It probably isn't like him to shit all over his legacy like he did. And he didn't feel comfortable with it. If you look at him during that season, he looks all red in the face, irritated, agitated, upset, depressed, angry, fat. He looked like he looked like shit. And he really has looked like shit since then. It's like the stress changed his body and the way he looks. If you look at Nick Nurse early in his Raptors career, he looks done up in a suit. He looks thin. He looks like very happy. He looks very like going good. And when things got shitty around the pandemic and Tampa year, he started to unravel and look horrible, like in his appearance. He aged. He aged. And part of it was the stress of the charade in the last season that he coached the Raptors. And I really do blame Rich Paul. I think that Rich Paul said, Nick, you're one of the best coaches in the league. Why are you wasting your time in Toronto? And they orchestrated this shit. Now, Nick, in some ways, it's not in his DNA to do this kind of shit. And he felt like he's a fraud, I'm sure, the last year he was on the Raptors. And that was very stressful. Very, very stressful for him. Well, he did it. He executed the plan that Rich Paul wanted and Daryl Morey. So you're just as at fault, even if it wasn't something that you felt totally comfortable with, Nick Nurse. I'm going to say that right now. Even if in some ways, it's your fucking life. Why are you letting them run it? Is what I would say. Yeah. He should have never taken Clutch on as his management. That was the big downfall, Nick. And that's why I get mad at LeBron and Rich Paul. In some ways, it's like Nick should have never been in Clutch, guys. He's a coach. What the fuck is a coach getting represented by Clutch? Seriously, coaches don't need to be highfalutin, like celebrity kind of coaches like Nick was being. That's a big part of it right there. That's a big part of it right there. Seymour saying, I wonder if I can find that jersey. Which jersey? The Master P jersey? You want to get a Master P like Percy Miller jersey? I don't know. You could get his number and just put Miller on there. I don't know. Does Oliver? He didn't wear 0, did he? You could get an Oliver Miller jersey and just say, oh, it's a Master P jersey. Because that's an Oliver Miller jersey. 0 is Oliver Miller. Percy Miller. You want Percy Miller. Yeah. Let's see. Blankman saying, I remember Master P was on Raptors Summer League or something. I wonder if he was all in with playing ball, if he could have made a roster. I remember this time he wasn't good enough. In some ways, it was a publicity stunt. In some ways, I think he was just hanging around and people were like, you're pretty good. You want to come down? I don't even understand what happened. You got to understand around that time when Master P was invited to training camp. You know who else was invited to training camp? Rowan Barrett Sr. Yeah. RJ's dad came into Raptors training camp 2 years over the Raptors history, and he tried to make the team and was a training camp cut for the Raptors 2 different years. They were separate from each other. So that's what I'm saying. Percy Miller and Rowan Barrett Sr., same kind of level of being Raptors. Training camp invitees that were cut before the season started. Yeah. Seymour saying he made the roster. I believe he was on a 10-day. No, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I think he only came to training camp. He played in a preseason game, and that was it. I think he played in a preseason game, and that's why you have a memory of him playing for us. Blankman saying, "Oh, okay, I didn't know he ever made the regular season roster." I don't think Seymour's correct there. Y'all can fact check this, and we can see who's right as far as Percy Miller and whether he played for the Raptors in the regular season. I don't think he did. Smooth saying that Masterpiece stuff was a gimmick, just as a favor. NBA hip hop merging. You know what? I don't think that's exactly true though, because they really didn't market it overly. They didn't. A lot of people didn't even know it even happened. So I don't know if that's actually true. I think that he actually is a very good player. He did play in college, and the Raptors had actually seriously considered him being in there. I mean, obviously, if he had made it, that whole tie-in would have been blown up like crazy, and it could have been very interesting from a marketing standpoint, having a rap star as one of the players on the Raptors. But I don't think that's true because they really didn't put this on blast back then. We got to remember there wasn't really social media at that time, and there was no advertising, and a lot of the regular Raptors fans didn't even know he came and played for us and came through. From that time, I remember that. Trevor's saying, I can't see the Raptors giving all non-believers something like hot pepper to eat this summer. They will be saying it's too hot. Okay, you can see that. You can't see that, or you can see that. I don't know. Either way, non-believers, go ahead and get off the bandwagon. Go watch the Leafs. If you don't want to ride with us through rebuild and the ups and downs of that, well, you don't have the stomach for it. You go ahead and just step off the cart real quick. Yeah, you can go on and go do whatever else you're going to do with your life. That's fine. Us obsessive Raptor fans will be here. Don't worry. Yeah, Smooth saying, I only remember him at training camp, but not as a 10-day. I don't think he made the team. I think that's accurate. Stargate saying, I'm sort of a pro wrestling fanatic myself. I'm 51 years old, and I can't remember a time in my life growing up where wrestling wasn't there. Stampede, AWA, NWA, WWF, WCW. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, my first territory that I was knowing was Florida. I got to see. I was talking about this with my dad the other day, and I was really, I was thanking my dad. Basically, I was saying, Dad, thank you for taking my brother and I to wrestling at the Civic Center in Tallahassee before 1986. In 1986, he took us to a wrestling match in 1986. I was 11 years old, and it was still the Florida territory before Vince crushed it out with the cable in the WWF. I actually got to go to some matches in the territory days before it all shut down. Now, Stargate's age, being older than me, he probably got to go some territory days wrestling also, possibly in Stampede with Stu Hart's outfit up here. But yeah, in the mid 80s, the way it switched over to basically WWF and NWA, aka WCW, it killed the territories. And I'm thankful and proud that I actually went to some territory wrestling before championship wrestling from Florida was absolutely squashed by Vince McMahon. So yeah, Smooth saying WWE is fire right now, man. Pure fire. I've heard it's gotten better. I think there's signs that wrestling is coming back in a way that's actually good. I think the big change will be next year when the WWE migrates to Netflix. And part of it is that Triple H, who's in charge of wrestling right now for WWE, he wants to go back to the Attitude Era. And he wants to go back to cussing and very adult kind of stuff. And because it'll be on Netflix, he can get away with it. He can't do it with the cable companies and the way it is. So expect wrestling to make a drastic turn in 2025 of being more like the Attitude Era at the turn before the turn of the century. That's all in the cards. They've said it's going to come, and because they're going to be on Netflix on a streaming service, they are going to do it, and it's going to be very interesting. It's been building, and of course, the Bloodline storyline has been huge and has been a great boon, and it's made the genius of Paul Heyman look so amazing. So amazing. I don't watch wrestling though, guys. I have not watched wrestling in 20 years. I only hear this from hearsay. I listen to Jim Cornette. Let's just put it that way. Milbester saying, good morning, Lex. How is Raptor schedule? I don't know. 3:00, Milbester. You're a little early. NBA schedule is announced today. How the fuck are we going to know the schedule? You're saying that it's announced today, Milbester. Come on, Knicks freak. Come on. Don't come in here with this bullshit. What is this? Is some sort of Azatam get back? Are you trying to like confuse us? Like, how's the schedule, Raptors freak? What the fuck, Melbester? It doesn't come out till 3. How do I know what the schedule's like? It doesn't come out till 3. All right, who's in the Raptors group for the in-season tournament? We've got Milwaukee, Indiana, Miami, and Detroit. Those are our 4 opponents in the in-season tournament group play. Yeah, those are our group. I like our group. It's not bad. Our group's not that bad, Milbester. Yeah. Smooth saying, I was away from wrestling for 20 plus years. Now I'm all in with WWE. So see, this is the thing. This is what Triple H wanted. He wanted to recapture the old head fans like myself and Smooth Brown Man. And well, he's recaptured Smooth Brown Man because he's done certain things that have gotten it back to the way it used to be. I'll tell you, get rid of all those little circus guys that do all the flippy stuff like AEW. Get real wrestlers out there, guys who look like they'd be scary in real life. That's part of the problem with recent wrestling is there's a bunch of guys out there that are smaller than me, and I feel like I could kick their ass. It shouldn't be like that. They should look scary and like Brock Lesnar, and you'd be like, yeah, I don't want to fuck with that guy. But meanwhile, they got little guys like what was that guy? Marco Stunt and like Jungle Boy and all these idiots run around. They're like smaller than me. I'm like, you're like a foot shorter than me, and you're maybe even 50 pounds lighter than me. And I'm not a very big guy weight wise. You know, I can't believe this. These guys are not good wrestlers, and they'll let anybody wrestle at this point. That's part of the problem is that kayfabe's over. They don't protect the business like they used to. And everybody in the world thinks that they can go and start wrestling when they shouldn't be. They absolutely should not be wrestling. That's what I say right there. Saying the storylines are really good, really, really good. I saw something with Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley recently. They broke up or something, and there's a lot of good shit talk in there. So I've seen a little bit of clips here and there. Some interesting stuff going on right here. Blank Man saying, I haven't watched wrestling in a while, but I did try to slide into Jade Cargill's DMs with no luck. But hey, worth a shot. She's an interesting phenom because she came out of nowhere, and she's absolutely been a badass in some ways. And she did jump ship from AEW to the big time. And that was smart. That was very smart. AEW is a mess. That thing is going to go up in flames at some point. Seriously. And Triple H is about to kick their ass right out of it because Tony Khan spent all that money in the world, but man, his product is so bad. His product is so bad. And WWE is actually starting to get better, like Smooth saying. Yeah. G saying, I want to see Scotty and RJ play some bully ball mixed in with some flair and shooting. IQ and Grady being spacing assassins with IQ, Scotty and Kelly passing at a high level. Yak Attack will be back. Yeah, I love all that. I love that whole mix that you're describing right there. Yeah, I want to see RJ bully the left side and Scotty bully the right side. And yeah, they got 2 open lanes for each other to do that. Go down that lane, whatever. So RJ goes on this side, lays it up with his left hand, or Scotty goes on this side, lays it up with his right hand. You know, or vice versa. They can switch, they can swap. There's no rules. But yeah, I like what you're describing here. And yeah, space makers, spacing assassins, Grady and IQ. Yeah. Yak Attack back. Oh, sounds all good to me, G. All right, you want to dunk? You're speaking my language here, my guy. You're speaking my language here. Yeah, the think tank's in full effect. Where I'm here about what y'all are thinking. You got the 50. G has gotten to 50 dunks. Beautiful. Yep, G, that's right. Cowboys agreeing. And most saying you were right about the Casey Vince jersey. Good on you, Lex. You could see it. They showed more of the Casey Bannerman Air Canada Carter jersey, the full image now. It has I don't even know if it says Toronto or Raptors. It says Canada actually, because it says Air in between. So it's Canada where it would be saying Raptors, and then it has the AIR in the middle, Air Canada, and then there's an image of Vince on it dunking. Lower on it. And it is a purple front, black back classic Raptors jersey from that era of Vince. So yeah, Casey's gonna be making the timely stuff that goes along with what's happening. I think he's a little early on the Vince stuff because honestly, the Vince stuff is not gonna go down till February. And everybody's gonna be whining and crying. Why haven't the Raptors done this for Vince or this? Well, they announced when they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it on the absolute day of the 25th anniversary of Vince's dunk competition in Oakland in 2000. So don't expect any honoring of Vince in the first half of the season. They will honor him around the All-Star break. And that will be because it's the 25th anniversary of his monumental performance in Oakland that won him the dunk championship when he said it's over. So that's when they're going to honor him. So Casey's bringing this out a little early. And in some ways, it's annoying because all these purple gremlin people are going crazy with all this shit right now. And I even saw somebody in the comments yesterday say, retire his jersey now, you cowards. You're not a Raptors fan if you're calling our front office or our organization cowards. You're probably an outside fan of the NBA who just thinks that it's ridiculous the Raptors have not retired Vince's jersey yet. Well, how long has he been retired from the NBA? He hasn't been that long. And honestly, if you do not understand the history of Vince Carter from a Raptors fan perspective, you have no opinion in this subject. Seriously. He's going to get honored. He's going to the Hall of Fame this year, Naismith Hall of Fame. And that's the whole entire NBA honoring him. It's up to us whether we want to honor a guy who shat all over our team after he left. And in some ways, it's not as simple as saying, why haven't you all retired his jersey yet? It's very, very fucking complicated. And in some ways, I'm glad that Masai and Bobby and the organization hasn't just rushed to kiss Vince's ass in any kind of way that anybody around the league thinks we should. Fuck all y'all that aren't Raptors fans telling us how we should honor Vince. Y'all don't fucking determine that shit. And y'all can do whatever you want. Yeah, the Nets retired his jersey already. Yeah, that's because he didn't shit all over them like he did us. Yeah, I get it. The Nets did it first. I don't give a shit. He can be retired there, just like Bosch is retired in Miami and not in Toronto. And everybody who's upset about it, get over yourselves. Because in some ways, your heart is not with me that bleeds purple for the purple Raptors from the beginning. You're obviously a player fan more than a team fan, and I stand with my team first. And when Chris Bosh and Vince Carter turned their back on our team, well, they turned their back on me as a fan and as a person that I would want to root for them. So that's just how it is right there. Black Man said, I take it you are an American Canadian like Brendan Fraser. He was a good actor, but it seemed like he was blackballed from Hollywood. That's an interesting quote. No, he's been in stuff recently. He's actually been in films recently. I'm born in Toronto, but raised in Tallahassee, Florida. So, yeah, I am Americanized just because I was raised in Florida. I spent the ages from 4 to about 19 or 20 in the United States. So my formative years and my education is in the Florida public school system. And I did go to Florida State. So, yeah, that's what it is right here. I consider myself an American Canadian, but I'm Canada first. I live in Canada. I stand with my side on this side in any kind of way. I'm proud of Canada more than I am the States. But I am a U.S. citizen. I will be voting in this election. I'm going to go mail my ballot very soon for my person that I'm voting for. Yeah. I don't know if Brendan Fraser was born Canadian and then became American, but that's what I am. I'm born Canadian, and then I naturalized to become an American citizen around 2000. So let's see. Mike is saying the Raps Twitter account is posting purple era things. Are they doing that currently right this second? Because I'll go look at it. I mean, I know they're doing that. It's the 30th anniversary season, and they're going to do a certain amount of this. But honestly, I think people are overreacting. I think that there's some people that are absolutely crazy if they want to go to a full purple rebrand. I think that's absolutely stupid. Because honestly, I don't want to go back in history, especially right now. It's dangerous. We're in a rebuild. We may not win a whole lot. And honestly, the purple jerseys always, to me, stood for not winning a lot. And I don't want that trauma, man. I don't want that trauma. We can't wear the purple jerseys every single game this season. I'm sorry. Anybody who wants that, you're crazy. You're crazy. That's what I'll say right there. Most saying 4% of all the name submissions so far have referenced Greek mythology. She's talking about the WNBA naming contest. I don't even understand that. I mean, is it because it's like Aphrodite or something like that? Toronto Aphrodites or something like that? I think this is statistically insignificant. And in any way, is this like a dropping a hint by Kilmer and Teresa Resch that there's going to be a Greek name for our team? I don't think so. You know, either way, I'm not too thrilled about this. I mean, what is the name? What is the Greek name that they're saying, or the Greek names? It's 4% of the entries. That's not a very big percentage. I don't understand why they dropped that factoid. Or is that kind of a clue that it is going to be a Greek name? I don't know. I'm not into that. I'm still with Monique's idea. Toronto Triumph. I think that's a badass name. Toronto Triumph. Because in some ways, I wrote it this way. I said, Teresa, you and Larry triumphed against MLSE in getting the WNBA in Toronto. So that's the first triumph of the triumph. That you got the team landed here and you got Kathy Engelbert to say, yeah, Toronto's getting an expansion team. That's a triumph, considering that Ed Rogers and those assholes on the MLC board said, no, we're not going to do a WNBA team. And y'all triumphed and made one anyway. So I say that's why you call it the triumph, because y'all triumphed at getting that team here, even if MLSE didn't want to have a part of it. So, yeah, I say that right there. Yeah, Mike saying Kendrick Perkins did a point guard list And he went Curry first, Magic second, Oscar third, Russell Westbrook 4, Stockton 5th, laughing my ass off. That's the other guy I forgot about. In some ways, I should ignore John Stockton. His anti-vax weirdness is weird. He's a weird guy. Like both him and Malone, in some ways, have like their legacies are weird at this point. Malone's is definitely weird. Stockton's a little more acceptable, but he's been a little weird too. I totally forgot about John Stockton. In some ways, he should probably be in the top 5 instead of Walt Frazier. So I'm going to amend it. I'm going to put Isaiah at 4 and Stockton at 5. Although people would say you can't put Stockton at 5 under Isaiah, because Stockton, people got to remember, Stockton was the leader in assists and steals in the NBA history for a long time. I think he might still be, isn't he? I don't even know. Is Stockton still the leader all time in assists for the NBA? Because he used to be, and he was the leader in steals also. So in some ways, John Stockton has to be respected for his point guard work. Yeah, Kendrick Perkins has got hit in the head too many times. Russell Westbrook should not be anywhere near that list. I'm sorry. He should not be anywhere that list. I don't even think Russell Westbrook's a top 10 all-time point guard. Yeah, no, the guy's a fail. I mean, he did do that triple-double average thing, like I said, with Oscar Robertson, but he's never really won. So why do we honor Russell Westbrook? He's a loser, and he's contributed to losing on many different teams wherever he's gone. So that's what I say to that. Mo's got my cutoff right here. Keep at it always. Good vibes. Y'all respect the cutoff by my producer, one of my producers, Monique, the superfan Lawrence. When she does that XXX, that means no more comments because we're at 2 hours, and I got to be done for the day because I got to go do stuff. I give y'all 2 hours every morning of talking about stuff, and in some ways I got to respect my life and go do other things too. Mike's saying, no lie, not gonna lie, Jason Kidd and Chris Paul are in his top 5. I can respect Jason Kidd being in there because there's some accurate to that, but I would say no, you don't want to put Chris Paul in there. You could put Chris Paul maybe in the top 10, maybe 9 or 10. I don't know. I'd maybe put him in my top 15. I mean, Chris Paul does get shaded and he does deserve more accolade, but I can't say he's top 5, Mike. I can't, at least myself. Jason Kidd, I'd probably put him around 8 or 9 on my list. I don't like Jason Kidd, but I have to understand that he was one of the best point guards ever. Yeah. Cowboy saying later, Lex and Rap Freaks. Dap to you, Cowboy. Y'all call Tada. Bradley's working in your area. If you need help with anything, he's a everyman. He can do anything. Handyman. 647-833-6844. Even if you just have a heavy object and you don't have nobody to help you lift it, you can call them and they'll come and help you lift it. 647-833-6844. Tada. They're in your area. That's right. Ta-da. Let's go. Quickly is the best point guard is what Bradley's saying. You know what? You get a dunk for that, Cowboy. I like that. Manuel Quickly is the best point guard. There you go. 92 for you. 92 for you, Bradley. There you go. 92 dunks for the Canadian Cowboy. That's right. Everyone have a blessed day. That's awesome. Carlos here. Darko worked wonders with Grady. Where do you see a mid-season improvement? Darko worked wonders with Grady. Well, I really give a lot of the credit for Grady to himself for not letting himself get down after a failure of the first half of the season and really having a fantastic second half of the season. In some ways, that could have been the downfall for Grady, was getting in his head and kind of losing confidence, but he didn't. And that's something that's really, really good because he's a shooter and he has to have a short memory and he can't beat himself up over missed shots or not succeeding. So, man, the future is so bright for Grady because his confidence is unflappable. And even through failure, Grady's going to be all right. I don't know how much Darko has to do with that, but that's part of it right there. Milbester saying in-season tournament is second year. And how do you feel overall for the teams in the Raptors group? Well, we went over this at the beginning of the stream. I feel like we're going to beat Detroit for sure here, obviously, hopefully. We have a good shot against Miami because I don't think Miami's as good as they've been a couple years ago. I think that there's all susceptible in certain ways. In some ways, I might even say Indiana might be the toughest game, except that we're playing them in Toronto. So the Milwaukee game in Milwaukee, the first in-season tournament game for the Raptors, may be the toughest one. Playing the Bucks in Milwaukee on the first in-season tournament game is probably the hardest one. Yeah. Let's see. Milbester saying, I will say that this NBA Cup for Knicks is better than last season. Sixers, not Bucks, Orlando, and Hornets. So you guys got the Sixers, the Nets, the Magic, and the Hornets in your group? Yeah. I guess, obviously, The big problem is going to be the Sixers, as far as we'll see how they look with Paul George. Orlando's kind of the second team in there. You guys are the second team or the first team. I don't know which one's the top dog or in your group. Orlando could be difficult. We'll see how Banchero and Wagner do. I think the Nets and the Hornets will be easy peasy. Yeah, the Nets may be the worst team in the league this year just because they have no talent. And I don't think the Hornets are going to be any better just because their guys are healthy. Honestly, I have no faith in the Hornets. Everybody keeps saying the Hornets are a team that are on the rise. I think the things that people say about the Hornets are what they should be saying about the Raptors. That's what I would say right there. All the stuff that they laud on LaMelo Ball, I've never understood this. This guy's a clown. This guy doesn't play fundamentally good basketball. He's a showboat. And in some ways, all the Ball brothers were like this. And also, Brandon Miller's the best thing going on in Charlotte, but and they do have some talent around that team, but I don't think they can get it together. They don't have a good coach, and that franchise is just destined to be a failure because honestly, it's not run very well. So yeah, I have no faith in the Hornets and the Nets. Well, they're totally starting over from absolute scratch at the bottom. So you guys should be all right there. Orlando and Philly are going to be your toughest opponents for sure. Cowboys got Darko on blast. I love it. Tobias saying Raptor Freak sounded like he was humming the ET theme, not Star Wars. It could have been ET, actually. It's all John Williams, right? I don't know. I could get messed up because all right, there's like 4 movies you could do. They all sound the same. And maybe I'll try and do them all differently right now. Dun, 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 dun. That's Indiana Jones, right? Okay. This Star Wars. Or the one I just did is E.T. Na 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 na. That maybe it is, but there's also a part of Star Wars that kind of sounds like that too. I don't know. You're probably right. It's all John Williams to me. Logical saying Percy Miller was cut in the preseason. There you go. Fact checked it. Fact checked it. Mike, Project Truth in on the project. That's right. There you go. And he's saying, ooh, a Mr. Pencil update. Laugh out loud. He's in a huge beef with a Legend of Winning. He's being clowned hard by a lot of people now. They call him the Pencil. Oh, that's the new nickname for he who shall not be named, the Pencil. You pencil neck geek. I'll wrap you with my cane, you pencil neck geek. Fred Blassie. There you go, right there. Yeah. They posted a picture of Akeem. Okay, yeah, that Akeem picture. I don't know why they did that. I mean, I guess they wanted to drop knowledge that Akeem Olajuwon did wear the Raptors purple. He did come up here. I talked about this when they did this, Mike, and I kind of did my whole memory of when Akeem signed with the Raptors and what was going on in my life and how I felt about it. At the time, I was really happy. That was a very happy moment in my summer at Ontario Place, working at the pizza kiosk behind the Cinesphere. When they had Akeem Olajuwon sign with the Raptors that summer, I was giddy. I was very happy. Of course, it didn't work out, but the idea that Olajuwon was coming in, you know how it is when you anticipate new team people coming in. You're like, oh my gosh, Olajuwon's on the Raptors. Like that summer was fun until reality hit when we saw how much he was going to do for us. I mean, he did have some games that were absolutely pleasurable to watch that played for the Raptors, but like maybe a handful, maybe like 3 games that were like, oh my gosh, Olajuwon, it's so awesome to have him on this team. And of course, he did play with Carter when he was here. So that was kind of cool that time. But yeah, in some ways, it's like, they just want to remind people that Olajuwon's in our history. Yeah, but is he really? Is he really in our history? So we're saying Akeem time with Toronto was a money grab, a farce. I know. And that's why I use the term, well, is he going to pull Olajuwon? Like Otto Porter or something like that. You can come in and say, I'll play for you Raptors and get some money. But I'm really kind of the end of my career. And I'm just kind of here to show up at the end and make a money grab, just like Smooth saying. So it's saying in some ways you could say Otto Porter Jr. did an Olajuwon to us. Maybe. Mike's saying Stockton is still the all-time leader in assists. There you go. So that has to be respected. That's why I would put him at number 4 on my list. He's probably on number 4, and Isaiah gets switched to 5. So Magic, Oscar, Steph, then Stockton. See, I'm putting Steph Curry over John Stockton. That's a huge deal. Seriously, that's a huge deal, youngsters. Seriously. And Mike's saying Stockton has 1,000 less turnovers than Braun, too. Yeah, it's insane. Like John Stockton was clinical as a point guard. He was amazing. In some ways, we forget about him. He's somebody who never toots his horn, and it's somebody that the NBA just doesn't put on blast in any kind of way. It's very interesting. But in some ways, they shouldn't, because he's kind of a weird guy with his politics at this point. Mike's saying, I like two-way point guards, and CP3 has 9 all-defensive teams. I mean, that's fair. Everybody can have their own rankings. It's just that Chris Paul has not won a championship. And in some ways, that is to get in my top 5, you got to have a championship. Although Stockton didn't win one either. But he did play a very high level, and the Utah Jazz won a lot while he was there. They just never won the championship because of Michael. Brian's back for the end. He showed up. He left and he come back. Are you still consulting lawyers? Is this what's going on, Brian? Oh, no, you did a film. You filmed with Coach Roach. That's what he did. He went and filmed his whole content while I'm still making my content in the middle of it. That's crazy. Trevor J saying Indiana will get the WNBA All-Star Game 2025. That's good for Caitlin Clark kind of stuff and tie-ins for merchandising and marketing and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that makes sense that Indiana is going to be the site of the next WNBA All-Star Game. Thank you, Trevor, for that breaking news. All right, let me go over my tabs. There is something that I want to talk about real quick. That guys, they have come out with the new FIBA World Rankings after the Paris Olympics, and Canada has jumped up 2 spots. We are now 5th officially in the world in men's basketball. We were 7th in the FIBA ranking before Olympics. So somebody tell me how we did not succeed at the Olympics. We went up the FIBA rankings. And we actually, the biggest faller was Spain. Spain dropped 4 positions out of the top 5 to 6th. And Australia dropped 2 positions. So they even lost some place. Serbia went up from 4th to 2nd. France went up 5 positions, which is really annoying considering how they got helped. That they're now in the 4th position above us. So the current FIBA rankings are USA 1, Serbia 2, Germany 3, France 4, and Canada 5. That's the top 5 men's basketball teams in the world. According to FIBA rankings, the next 5 are Spain, Australia, Argentina, Latvia, and Lithuania. So that's the top 10 in FIBA sports for basketball at this point. So Canada went up 2 spots. So how can we say we were a fail at the Olympics? We made ourselves go up the rankings. Y'all check out the community tab. There's actually a very, very important anniversary today, guys. 30 years ago today, I almost died in a car wreck in Florida. And I documented it on the community tab on this YouTube channel. If you want to go see the story, it's there from I documented it from 25th anniversary 5 years ago. Well, it's 30 years ago today that I pretty much almost bled to death in a car on the side of the road because of my idiocy and drunk driving. So if you want to know more about that story, check out the community tab. You can watch it. It's from the Kensington Variety VIP Club show that I did 5 years ago during our championship year in 2019. So yeah, check that out. It's interesting. And I talked about this on this channel before. Some of the old school Raptors freaks that have been on this, watching this channel for a couple of years, have heard these stories before. Once again, happy birthday to Bruce Brown Jr. He's 28 today, guys. So our current Raptor, Bruce Brown Jr., it's his birthday, y'all. So let's wish him a happy birthday. All right, I think that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. The in-season tournament is going to be coming once again this year. And on November the 12th, we'll play in Milwaukee against them. November the 15th, we'll play here against Detroit. November the 29th against Miami. And then 4 days after that, we will play against the Indiana Pacers, closing out the in-season tournament group play in Toronto against them on December the 3rd. So, yeah, that's the in-season tournament schedule. All right, I'll be back tomorrow for a Friday Freakout, 9:30 a.m. on Friday morning, and I'll be freaking out about the schedule, hopefully in good ways. I want to freak out in good ways, NBA. Don't make – because this is how they hit job us with refs during the games, but there's already the first hit job when the schedule comes out. And if they have some crazy-ass sections of the schedule that are just unfair, well, we'll call it out tomorrow. We're going to look at it tonight. So, yeah, Milbester, how the hell do I know what the schedule's like if it ain't coming out till 3? I'll say that one more time. Isaac saying, be well, friends. Much love. Much love to you, Isaac. Also, someone who came to that in-season tournament game last year against Boston and was a part of that Curb Your Enthusiasm episode between me and that Celtics guy. That's just an infamous, Raptor freak story at this point. And Isaac got to be there for it. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching, and y'all enjoy your Thursday. Thanks for being here, being on the Think Tank, and let me know what you think. I appreciate it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And let's go Raptors. I'll see y'all guys tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, this regular Raptor Freak stream time. Let's go.